What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another live watch along here on Forward Progress, part of the Hammer Betting Network, presented by Pinnacle Sportsbook. Now, usually when all the fellow nails are joining me for these primetime watch alongs, not the greatest of games usually. Not the greatest of games usually. We got a good one on Monday night between Buffalo and Denver. It came down to the wire. Lots of excitement. Hopefully the same tonight with the Bengals and the Ravens. I got a bunch of prop bets that I do want to give out before we go live here, before the game starts here, I should say. There's going to be a bunch of them, mostly fixated on player props per usual. But really quickly, just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. A lot of the usuals, the OPMG, Anthony Glenn, Research Flat Earth. We don't know what happened to the guy. Although I suspect that he's come back in the form of Chosen Sports. I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's just a possibility I'm throwing out there. Sorry, Chosen. It seems a little bit too similar. A little bit too similar, if I had to say. But really quickly want to talk about the game. I don't have a rooting interest in the game tonight. Maybe we'll look for a live bet here and there. Neither of the sides really got to the price that I needed to play them. And yes, guess what, people? Price, unlike what Steve Fezzik might say, is actually important on the games. Sometimes there is value later in the week betting NFL teams. Who would have known? But I didn't get there with any of these specific prices. Baltimore injury report. Left tackle Ronnie Stanley is out. Patrick McCarry will probably fill in at left tackle as he's done before with Ronnie Stanley out there. Broderick Washington out on the defensive line. Not a huge blow there. Marlon Humphrey out in the secondary. They do have some depth there with Ronald Darby, Rock Yassin, Jalen Armour Davis. Still a big blow, but depth in that secondary. For Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson is playing. He's going to give it a go with the bad knee. A little bit surprising, but he's going to start tonight. We'll see if he's effective or not. That's important because Sam Hubbard is also still out on the defensive line. In the Bengals receiving core, T. Higgins out. Andre Yeshivas out. It's Chase, Boyd, Irwin, and Charlie Jones got elevated from the practice squad. No strong opinion on the game. I guess if I had to bet it at the current Pinnacle price, which is 4, I would maybe slightly lean to the Bengals, but I think this is just a good number. This is just a good number all around. Total's been bet up. We're going to see if we can finally get a primetime over. I feel very privileged to have hit a primetime over on Thursday Night Football weeks ago with the Commanders and the Bears, because since then, it seems impossible. But these games are not going over. I saw Eric Eager earlier on Forward Progress this afternoon. I agree with a lot of what he said about how I think the Bengals will play defense in this game, which is prevent the big play. It's not a surprise. That's what a lot of teams are doing nowadays. But I think that the Ravens are going to have to methodically work their way downfield in this game, whether that's through the running game, short passing. That lends itself more to an under than an over, but I don't know that the Bengals D is going to offer much resistance. All in all, very challenging game for me to play in terms of the entire market. And again, look at Pinnacle now, taking 100K on sides. Probably not the best time to be betting the game from a full game perspective. Money line and total and ATS. However, props, I'm going to get into it. First and foremost, smash that like button down below. Smash it. Secondly, I don't have a great anytime touchdown score or first touchdown score tonight. If you have some in the chat, drop them in there. I'll probably pick one of the bunch. There's a few guys I'm eyeing. If I get some consensus, I'll probably fire on one. Haven't fired on anything yet. I'll do it live on the stream right before we go live in this game in about 10 minutes. But to get to the props, a lot of you who have seen this regularly before probably know that I'm like a fade the steam type of guy when it comes to a lot of these props. I respect a lot of people who do well with these. Hitman is great in the props market. Right Angle Sports. But a lot of times, some of these props tend to over-steam, and I like to play the other sides. That's just me. And that's where we are at this point. Anyways, let's start it with the Cincinnati Bengals. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's go team by team. We'll go team by team here. Cincinnati Bengals. Couple props I want to play here for the Bengals. The most popular guy in the world right now is Tanner Hudson. 3 weeks ago, the Bengals organization talked about Tanner Hudson going to get a lot more play. And the last 2 weeks, he's gone off, put up a lot of yardage. 2 weeks ago against the Bills, this guy didn't even have a receiving total. Couldn't even really bet it at a sports book. Last week, it was 16.5. Now it's even higher than that. Now, Tanner Hudson is playing like 30% of the snaps for them over the past couple weeks. What does that mean in terms of total snap counts? It's pretty low. Last week, 20. The week before, 16. I'm going to fade a little bit on Tanner Hudson here. I know some people in the chat bet the overs. I get it. But in the receiving market, 2.5 receptions, I'm going under. And in the receiving yards market, I'm going under as well for small bets. We're going to play these for quarter units, literally quarter units, $25 each. But under 20.5, I think this is good. A-okay. Down to 18.5. Try to play the best prices as always. And of course, I recommend Pinnacle as much as possible if you're looking for best price. $25 on each of those, quarter unit. Starting there. Second thing, Joe Mixon, receiving yardage total, 20.5. Yeah, he's exceeded this a bunch of times this year. He can exceed it, obviously. Ravens are pretty good at limiting targets to opposing running backs. One of the top 7 or 8 teams in terms of target rates for opposing running backs. I'm going to go with receiving yards under on Joe Mixon. Another half unit here. Best price in market is Pinnacle, under 19.5 plus 103. That's what we're going to lock in for this stream. However, any of the other widely available numbers are solid. Those can be books. 20.5 minus 114. Totally fine as well. $50, half unit, Joe Mixon under receiving yards. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens side of things. Okay, Mark Andrews. Great matchup. Bengals don't cover tight ends well. I actually like Mark Andrews in one market. It's the touchdown market. I don't like him in the receiving yards market, where this has been bet up quite a bit. There was the Hitman release earlier in the week, Right Angle Sports. I think it got pushed a little bit too far. Of course, Mark Andrews is capable of a 60-yard game. I get it. However, you're getting plus money on the under 58.5. Widely available number. Mark Andrews. Play against the steam, $50 under on Mark Andrews. That'll be a painful one to root against. You know what? While we're there, Zach, pull up Mark Andrews' anytime touchdown score market. He is going to get a touch. He is, I'm thinking probabilistically, he's going to get targets in the red zone today, in all likelihood. Anytime touchdown plus 175, very widely available. That's a good bet, in my opinion. Throw another $50 on that. Throw another $50 on that. Keep it going here. Gus Edwards. His receptions total, is a half. We're playing over. I want Gus Edwards to get one catch. Single catch. Here's what I've noticed about Gus Edwards in recent weeks. He's not going to get a lot of targets. I'm not playing this because he's like a super heavily targeted running back. He's going to get probably about a 50% snap share, if not a little bit higher. We know that Keaton Mitchell's going to get worked in a little bit more. But in 3 of the last 4 games, there's been a designed pass to Gus Edwards, a play that they've drawn up for him specifically in the passing game. Let's just hope it goes for a completion. Widely available, plus 114. Now, that's the only price I'm playing on this, people. So I'm just going to reiterate this. You need the plus money over, which is widely available, but only in one spot. $50, Gus Edwards, over a half reception. Full unit play is coming via Nelson Agholor tonight. Disgusting. Nelson Agholor. His receiving yardage total is 7.5. I almost want to throw up. I had a Euro before we started here. Euro wrap. Want to yak it everywhere. But this 7.5 over, solid bet. Honestly, the 9.5s are solid. Even the 10.5, I still have an edge on. Just reduce your stake accordingly. It's A-okay at any of the prices on the board, but reduce your stake accordingly. $100, Nelson Agholor. Just for God's sakes, man, catch like a 9-yard pass. Catch a 9-yard pass. All right, final one. All right, this one's a little bit of a juice, but you know what? We laid some juice with Samaje Perine last week. Monday Night Football. It hit. Odell Beckham Jr. His receptions market, 2.5, heavily juiced to the under. Some people just don't want to play heavily juiced bets. I totally get that. He's had some games where he's had 5 catches, a lot of targets, but it's very inconsistent for him overall. I priced the under 2.5 at almost minus 200 in this game. Minus 166, widely available. I would probably, you could technically go to any of these prices, but I probably have some sort of cutoff around minus 185 here. Half unit, Odell Beckham, under 2.5, minus 166, $50. Zach, let's hit all the my picks so we can just do a quick recap here of everything that's going on. And again, for transparency purposes, we track these all on BetStamp. In this corner right here, Primetime NFL account. If you want to see how we've done in the past, this dates all the way back to last year where Joey Kanish ruined the record for this entire channel with his Thursday Night Football garbage bag picks. But I'm here to rebound. Bring this account back to where it deserves to be. Right at the top. Just like Fez, number 2 in Circa Millions leaderboard right now. Right at the top. 2.4% ROI. Not bad, actually. Not bad. We've been on the upswing. Odell Beckham under receptions. Nelson Aguilar over 7.5 receiving yards. We're looking for 1 reception from Gus Edward. Mark Andrews, anytime touchdown. Mark Andrews under receiving yards. Yeah, I get it, people. Joe Mixon under receiving yards. Tanner Hudson under receptions. Fading a lot of steam. Quickly, first touchdown score market. I'm firing. I saw a lot of things come up here. I got to rip something. Let's rip one for each team. Irv Smith for the Bengals is going in. Wow, we got a lot of everyone's like Trenton Irwin. All right, fuck it. Let's go Trenton Irwin. And if Irv Smith wins, then I'll just blame everyone in the chat. Trenton Irwin, first touchdown. I want to be a man of the people. 25-1. Let me get that in really quickly here so that I can what book? Okay, while I'm firing that. So Trent Irwin is Steven Robinson, Jeremy Kahn, Patrick. I'm going with you guys. All right. What are we doing for the Ravens? So we have you know what? I like this, Brandon. I like this one. Let's go Rashad Bateman for the Ravens. Seems like a good dart. He'll be on the field. Let's rip it. Bateman, $10, 30-1. That's going to be it. Everyone else, I do appreciate the recommendations. Someone did say Irv Smith as well. This has got to be a sign. Let's rip an Irv Smith as well, Zach, really quickly. All right, I'm gonna have to fire. Don't bet and stream, people. Don't bet and stream. Don't drink and drive. Don't bet and stream. Irv Smith. Those are all in. Appreciate everyone who gave a bet. I see the Keaton Mitchell bets. I honestly think he's a little bit overpriced. That's not to say it can't happen, but everyone is on the Mitchell train right now. Nolan Rundle says 213 views, only 71 likes. What is wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong with you people? That's what I have to ask. Sickening. I ate a bad gyro before the show. I'm sweating. This beer's not very good. And all I can get is 71 likes for firing out a bunch of bets in 15 minutes. Most of which are probably minus EV and we'll lose. And that's all I can get. Disgusting. Game's about to start. Appreciate everyone who tuned in here. One more thing before we bring in our first guest of the night. And it's a jam-packed night. Fourth quarter is Berryhorse. Third quarter, Eric Eeager. Second quarter, Whale Capper. I'll be joined momentarily by Kirk Evans as well. But before we do, there's a little share button here on YouTube as well. Just click that share button. Get it out into your social streams. Share it with your friends. Just tell people, there's this crazy Canadian guy who's wearing a very flamboyant shirt tonight. Why don't you just go watch him? Watch the football game tonight. That might be of interest. Hello, 42 said hike. Hello. All right, game's about to start. Bengals kicking off to the Ravens, and we're kicking off with Kirk Evans. What up?
How are we doing? I got in late, but I tailed all the first touchdown bets. We better hit one of these.
You know what? Our hit rate is very low, but because of these prices this year, like we've hit a 66 to 1, a 50 to 1.
I like that.
We've hit some bangers this year. We've hit some bangers
I,
this year.
I also had I'm taking a few overnight NBAs, and I had them just like in my bet slip, and I have a 30 to 1 first touchdown with 4 NBA totals tomorrow. So if Trenton Irwin, who I can't say I'm too familiar with, gets a touchdown here, I'm gonna be sweating out some NBA totals tomorrow.
First pass is like already like 15 yards to Mark Andrews. So I might as well just kiss that bet goodbye immediately on the first bet of the game, play of the game. I'm a huge fan of when this happens because at least the pain is over with. Yeah, listen, J-Rod, I get it, man. The Andrews matchup is great. I'm totally on board with that. But there's at some point you got to draw the line and say we've gone a little bit too far. Now he's going to have like 180 yards tonight, probably something stupid like that. Kirk, I have to ask you, I don't want to be that guy, but is there an overnight NBA total that maybe the people can have a sniff of possibly?
Let me take a look.
You could tell me to get fucked. It's fine. You could just say, no.
Yeah, no. I can't give it. We're on one big, but I definitely still the plan is like Pin and Bookmaker haven't even come out yet. So
got it. Fair enough.
Big day tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. Play-in tournament, 1 million games. Gonna be a fun one.
Big day in the association, as they would say.
Big day in exactly.
In the association.
So what Mark Andrews lines do you have here?
The losing ones. The losing ones. They should get carpal tunnel from smashing the like button so hard. I agree.
If you don't have carpal tunnel by the end of the show, what are you even doing here?
All right, we got a big gain here. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a play clock rundown here so that everybody can get synced with me. So I'll give the play clock as I see it after they show this replay so that we can sync up. Great play here to Zay Flowers. Nice little route over the middle of the field. Made that corner look like an asshat. And then a big time block downfield there too. Oof. Don't want to be on one of those blocks. All right, relax, Anthony. I'm going to do a sync. I swear I will. I promise it's coming. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. Play just ran. Lamar Jackson just ran. Very awkward slide there. Would you typically, Kirk, be watching NFL primetime games? Is that something you do, or you just
I would have I'd probably have football on the TV with an NBA game on my computer.
Got it. All right. So
yeah,
it wasn't just like a FOMO thing, or maybe it was.
No. And this Heat Nets total's running up, so glad I'm not watching anyway.
There you go. 2nd and 3, 12 seconds on the play clock. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and a play gets run. Are we close to the same timing here?
You're a little ahead of me, but I can live with that. You've got like 6 seconds on that.
6 seconds. We've got a lot of. So for those that don't know, Kirk was my guest on Circles Off this week. We got a lot of these comments already.
Like
we both wear glasses.
I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't expecting it.
Neither was I.
But this is a younger brother. We got a lot of father-son.
Yeah, well, I mean, I look like I'm 50 years old, but I'm actually only 36.
Yeah, I don't know how young people think I am or how old people think you are, but unless you had me real young, I don't think that works.
Yeah, you joined some esteemed company of Antonino DeRosa here, Eric Eager, and of course yourself 3 episodes ago as well. People can't get enough. Look at that, 2K views for you 3 weeks ago. People can't get enough of Kirk Evans.
That's pretty good. Look at that. Well, I shouldn't be beating DeRosa. I guess I've had more time, but that episode was amazing.
Yeah, that was definitely a really solid one here.
I don't have any stories like being a Magic player.
I wanted Mark Andrews to get in for the touch. Andrews is hurt.
Oh God.
He looks like badly hurt too. Dude, that looks like a bad leg injury. I hate to win bets like this.
Yeah, no, he's badly hurt.
Yeah, you can tell by Lamar Jackson throwing his helmet to the ground and players taking a knee.
Oh God.
Oh
Tough
boy.
way to start. So really big loss for them.
Yeah. Yeah. We got so like G-Stack George always wonders whether or not if I win a bet due to a player injury, I will cheer for it like he will. And he got his we just had an example, a real life example.
Live example.
A live example. No, I hate seeing stuff like that. That's Andrew's a big time tight end.
But does that count? Because I probably wouldn't cheer for a bet if I was on a live stream and a player got hurt. But if I'm watching alone, it's a different story. I don't know if I'm cheering, but I'm not cheering.
So
I'm not actively going to be like, yes, let's go. But I won't be like upset. I'm happy I won the money.
Yeah, I guess it depends. When you do enough of these, here's the honest to God truth. I've been doing content for a long time in some capacity, but you forget that you're on air sometimes. So it is very like at first you're very conscious of everything you do. You know, probably the first few times I was doing content, I'd be like, don't pick your nose, don't do this, don't do that. Like, and then over time you just do whatever. I'm picking my ass all the time, you know.
I was going to say now you're just picking your nose throughout the whole screen.
Doesn't make it. I honestly.
That's why the people watch.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. They watch for the Mark Andrews on. We are though like that. We did play an Andrews touchdown score, and this has been the curse this year. Like this broadcast, if we play them as a touchdown score, there's approximately a 69% chance that they're going to get injured in the game. Like this is the actual curse. I don't know what it is, but
now we need Rashad Bateman. He's who I'm looking at right now.
I'm looking at Bateman too. Now, listen, there is in-play betting and stuff like that nowadays. It's already probably too late to react, but normally you see stuff like that. The backup tight end is Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. You probably would have wanted to fire on his overs pretty quickly if that's the case. Nice little account restrictor. But here we go.
You need
to refund the TD bet. He is walking off.
I agree.
But he's walking to a cart. And no replay out of commercial.
No, he's done.
Well, there's a replay. There's a replay coming. So his leg got rolled up on, his back leg. And he fumbled the ball too. Like that, he immediately felt the pain.
I don't like watching these things. I'm a baby with
dude
watching injuries.
I woke up. I don't even want to say this, but I woke up a couple weeks ago to a group chat and there was like a hockey video in there. And I just clicked it. I had no idea what I was watching. It was the Adam Johnson. And I was like, dude, that like ruined my day. Yeah, I had no idea what I was getting into. That kind of stuff makes me sick. Okay, we got a 1st and goal here. So they did pick up the first down.
And we got him on the field. Bateman's on the field. Oh God, you're way ahead of me right now, actually.
Yes. It was Gus Edwards into the end zone for a touchdown. What was Gus Edwards' first TD paying, Zach? I know you're eating some fucking sushi there or something in the background. Sorry to interrupt your sushi party, but yeah, just interested to see what that was. Oh man. Oh God, yeah. Well, he is walking. He's not taking the cart to the back. Is it honestly? Maybe he just got away with like a high ankle sprain or something. High ankle would be best case scenario, probably.
I didn't watch the replay. Did it look like knee or look like ankle? He looks like, not terrible.
It looked like his ankle got rolled up on. A lot of people are asking whether or not that was considered a pass. NFL play-by-play is ruling it a run. Gus Edwards rushed to the left end for 3 yards. Not a
definitely looked like a run to me.
It's a lateral. It's a lateral. Yeah, it's a run. It was not.
That's for sure a run.
Yeah. Now the question is whether or not I want to dip in the pool on Cincinnati live. What do we got for live line, Zach, here? I'll grab it really quickly. But if you thought Burrow as a 4-point underdog was a play, you're going to love Burrow as a 7-point underdog, which is the current line at Pinnacle right now. Yeah.
Tell me if we're firing. I'm with you.
Oh, man. I know it shouldn't get to me, but too many of the Twitter mushes were on Cincinnati today. You know, every once in a while where you see like it was early in the day, the mushes were aligning on the Ravens. I saw Book It Trent, Ravens banger. There was a few that came in on Ravens. I'm like, but then towards game time, Portnoy posted like $100,000 ticket on the Bengals. I saw a bunch of Bengals coming in. A lot of Barstool Bengals.
I saw that Portnoy, the 120K ticket.
Yeah. Like,
must be nice.
Do we think that he's like, is he actually betting that amount of money, or you just think this is fake fun? I guess it doesn't matter anymore. There's no Barstool Sportsbook. So I guess
I think it's real.
Yeah,
I think it's real. I think him and Big Cat are like legitimate, massive degenerates who just like are so rich that it doesn't really matter.
Yes. I met Big Cat back in the day. He's a solid dude, as Burrow's going to rush on first down here. He was a great dude, man, to hang out with. Very down to earth, but like, honestly, like Geriatric says, who is Portnoy a beard for? We got to figure out a way to get this guy's accounts, man. Like, there's no way he should just be betting into his own accounts anymore.
It would truly be the biggest god. But the thing is, Portnoy's too rich. Like, I don't think he would even care so much of like bearding out his accounts, unless you could make him a ton of money, which you probably could, especially under Dave Portnoy's name. I'm sure he's been betting on that account for literally years. Dude. But it would be the god account, the number one.
It's like you remember the Circles Off episode I did with Shipper. He basically told me that as soon as he saw my name when I deposited, I got like the limit. He's like, I flagged the account and whatever. It's like as soon as Portnoy deposits, sure. These guys are like, there's a note on the account that says like, just give him whatever he wants. He could make some pretty decent money working with a large syndicate.
Like, he could make, especially with how much he's probably bet into it already. Yeah, he could make massive money for sure. But he just bought a $50 million house in like Nantucket. So like
he is pretty low.
You need him to ride really cold. So then he needs some money to pay for that mortgage.
Zach put up a poll after the Mark Andrews injury saying, does Pizzola actually hate to win his bet like this? 60% of people think I'm hiding my joy.
I'm surprised it's that low. I thought you were going to pull out like 85%.
Here, I've established long ago that most of the people that are watching this, most of the nails, as I call them, the naileronis sometimes, these people are sick fucks, generally speaking. Got a lot of sick fucks who would, the chances that we have a serial killer in this viewership tonight or in this chat are upwards of 50%, I would have to say.
It's pretty high. What do you think? How many people are watching?
We usually got like 200 active, 200 concurrent. Over the course of a night, it'll be like 1,000 to 1,500 different. Yeah.
So out of 1,000 normal people, how many do you think are odds of a serial killer? That's gonna be like 2%. So these guys are real sick fucks to get it to 50.
I mean, Brink says it all. Like, we are all sick. Yes, you are, Brinks. There's. Let me ask ChatGPT. What percentage of people are serial killers? What percentage of people are serial killers? Let's see if ChatGPT has any idea.
Did you say that?
It's important to clarify the percentage of people who are serial killers is extremely low in the general they're not giving me a good answer. The AI is not giving me a good answer. Okay, this is a different story.
ChatGPT hiding the truth.
Yeah. I did say I'd topple an elderly man to place a bet. We stipulated that it was a very, plus EV bet. I had to jam that kiosk like immediately. And if there's an elderly man in the way, yeah, he's gonna get it. Big 3rd and 7 coming up here for the Bengals. I like watching good games. Timeout. God. already. Brendan.
Most of these primetime games have been terrible, but I think it's gonna turn. And this is a good start. Ravens drive, Bengals driving.
Yeah. It's a good here's the thing. The primetime unders thing is no longer really a narrative. Like the sample size has gotten high enough that if you run like a binomial distribution on it, the probability of this many coin flips ending under is like less than, I think it was like 0.05% when I ran it. So maybe there's something there that, and I just don't know what it is, but I want to see it. I just subjectively want to see it balance out over time so I can not see this shit.
I'm not I don't bet football sides at all. Has it been put into the market at all, or are these games are still running high?
Oh, it's they're I don't know that the market is accounting for it at all. And as the pass is broken up here on third down, so we're gonna get a field goal attempt. Yeah.
Could have been picked.
It could have that was like very well read by it looked like Marcus Williams, who was out at safety earlier in the year, but he's like pretty impactful player for them. Yeah. It's gonna be a 50-yarder. Do you want to take bets on whether or not it goes in? McPherson?
I'll take the yes. But what odds am I getting?
I want the yes too. It's up. Oh, it's close. It's good. Just inside. Just snuck it in there.
We both win the bet.
Yes.
I don't know who was taking it. Someone in the chat, pay us out.
What price was it A-OK up until though? Do you think?
You're gonna have to tell me that.
God, like Fez, like what do come on, Fez, man? Like what is this attack this attack on the forward progress staff? What is this? Like what is the problem with us saying what the number is good to? If you bet a 2.5 and you make the game 3.5, you say it's good up to -3. Like, what is the issue here? What is the issue?
Not to take Fezzik's side here.
Oh, but here we go.
Look, I don't know. If I'm betting NFL sides and it's Thursday and I make a number 3.5 and it's 2.5, maybe I'm betting 2.5, but I'm not betting 3. I do kind of agree there.
Fair enough. But
like how many people, I do kind of agree with him. How many people who are winning on the 6.5 are actually winning on the 7?
That is a good question. Ultimately, I think going forwards, we will just put like what the person thinks the fair value for the game is. So that way people can decide afterwards. Because yes, I'm with you. I'm in the exact same boat. So like, let's say I make a game 3.5. I'll bet it 2.5. I probably won't bet it 3, especially late in the week. However, my fair value on the game still might be 3.5. The 3 might be good, but subjectively, I just like value the market a lot at that point in the week when they're taking big bets. So there's that. There's got to be something though, because a lot of times we'll give out these bets on air and they steam like as we're giving them out on air. So somebody watching after the fact has to know what that person would actually bet it up to.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's just hard. Giving out picks is just so much harder than betting them by yourself. Like yesterday, I'm betting NBA totals, or right now, NBA totals are up for tomorrow. Like, yeah, I'll bet my line pretty much up until that line tonight, tomorrow morning. But like, if someone plays it against me and it's 4:00, and now I'm 1.5 off my number, I'm not just going to continuously shove, even though I make it, 1.5, 2 points off my number. So it's hard. It also depends on like what the person is trying to get from this. Like, are they trying to understand how you are betting, or they just purely want to put in your picks?
Yes. I also like the thing that bothers me. Here's the biggest thing that bothers me about the whole thing. I think there's some validity to what he's saying. So I don't want to dismiss it completely. I agree with some of that. But the whole notion that nobody in the world basically has an edge betting Wednesday NFL is absurd to me. Like the lines from if you track Wednesday to Sunday, 3/4 of these games are going to move between now and then. like there's definitely still edges, and there's more people that are going to be entering the market as the week goes on, as limits go higher. His vantage point is like, if you're not betting Monday NFL anymore, like you don't have an edge. To which case I would just say, like, Fez, if you want to book me at like Circa or Chris or Pinnacle prices on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're more than welcome to do that. And then we can see about that if we actually want to go down.
I like that.
Right?
I like that a lot.
But like,
but also that notion doesn't really make any sense, because just like you said, if no one has an edge on Wednesday, then the Wednesday prices would close at the Sunday prices, and anyone can see that that's not the case.
Oh, downfield bomb to Beckham. No good. Didn't want to see that.
Stays under very excited
for F1 in Vegas. This is the only thing that's saving me from getting into like an argument with him on Twitter, is the fact that he just hates F1 so much now that he's got like another distraction. Yeah. I kind of wish I was there for this weekend.
Fez, not to pile on too much, but I guess I was just defending them, but just a rough Circa Survivor tweet today. For a guy who likes dunking on people for math, that was some real poor math from Fez today. I don't know if everyone saw it.
I didn't see it. Here's the thing, okay? Fez, my first experiences with Fezzik were Seville hates this guy and always has, and they dunk on him a lot and whatever. I've met Fezzik. I've talked to him. I actually think he's a very good guy, very down to earth. You know, when like I say this about Pikachu bets a lot of times, which if you've met this guy in real life, he's like the nicest, quietest guy. He goes on Twitter and you're like, this person is insane. And like Fezzik has a Twitter persona that does not match it. It's like, just put down the keyboard. Like somebody's got to tell him like, hey, Fez, or like he needs someone to proof every tweet before he clicks send. He just needs, if he paid someone even $5,000 a year and said, all you got to do is just proof this tweet before I send it out, make sure it's okay, it would be $5,000 well worth it. Because he sometimes tweets the dumb, would have saved them from this Purdue minus 8,000 money line thing from last year, would have saved them from a million things.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Fez is the only person on Twitter who I read like exact, and that's actually a great comment. You read it and you're like, oh, this person's screaming directly at me right now. Like, I've never met the guy, but it comes through as true just yelling.
Oh, Bengals defense gets home on third down. I already regret not taking the Bengals live. I say stuff like that though, so that when we cut up this show afterwards for on Monday, I can look like an idiot, possibly. I look like a hero or an idiot. I have to mix in these statements over the course of the show. That's how the content works. That's how it works. Yeah, I want Fezzik to win. I actually want him to win the circuit. It will make it. This is the story of the millennium. If it happens, all the haters will be so much more. He will just like it needs to happen. I am rooting for Fez.
I'm totally with you. I couldn't be cheering for him more. Well, because what do I care if anyone else wins Circa Millions? I'm not winning unless I go really hot. So obviously I want, if it's not me, I want as much chaos as possible.
The only thing I want more is to actually buy a piece of his entry right now as well, so that I could be there taking the picture with him when he wins the whole, like with the big check. Like Fez, he watches a lot of these sometimes too. I hope he messages me on the side, but I want to be there, like as part of the team, accepting the big check with him.
Well, Fez loves to actively manage, so I think he would sell off to you for the right price.
Yeah, he would. I mean, but the thing is, he's not going to give me a good deal. I want a good deal.
No way.
I'm not getting a good deal. Like he's going to calculate his percentage of winning as like way higher than market, right?
Yeah. Well, he's won it twice before. You got to factor that into the price.
Of course, that all needs to be factored in. Who wins most toxic on betting Twitter? I don't know, Kirk. You've got into it with a lot of people. It's a good question.
I'd probably go Logan Matthews. I think that just because he has even though honestly I'm sure he's a really good bettor and I liked him on Circles Off, like he just doesn't engage with anyone in a non like angry way. He's only in the kind of space of like, dunking on people. So to me, that's most toxic. Like the other guys, at least will kind of engage in other sorts of Twitter activity.
We got
Maybe
Favre.
maybe Porter as well.
Favre, like Favre has like a very arrogant, he follows like one person and just retweets bullshit, like comes out like out of the woodwork once a month. Can't be. Diggs, maybe. Bet Stamp. The Bet Stamp Twitter. Yeah, I mean, some people are not too happy about that. Whatever. I mean, Brett Favre 444. Rufus. I don't know about, I mean, some people might. Logan Matthews is, I like Logan. He gets very, as a lot of people do, including myself. So like, I don't want to be hypocritical, but like he gets very rooted in like an ideology or a viewpoint and can't, I find a lot of people on gambling Twitter cannot see things from another perspective. That's the big issue to me. Like Diggs, shitting on content creators and whatever. Oh yeah, great. You're putting out, content on what the line should be. Congratulations. It's like, dude, you used to be a content creator. You used to write a blog. You think like I don't remember that happened? That was you.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Vegas Watch was its own blog and like, whatever. Anyways, does Ben the Better count? I mean, Ben the Better.
Oh, Ben the Better is that's a good one. But he's like toxic in a different way.
Yeah, that is. I mean, the whole thing is a cesspool. I would have to agree. There's really now Chosen Sports. This is a very, very interesting comment here because this now narrows it down to maybe a handful of people that this could be, and maybe proves that you are not research flat Earth, which is interesting. We had a big Survivor entry together years ago where the Bengals in week 17, Andy fucking Dalton beat the Ravens outright as underdogs. And Joe Flacco threw a pick at the end of the game. I'll never forget. Anyways, the clues are coming in.
Right? And that was week 17 when week 17 was the last week.
Correct. I don't know exactly who it is, but it's my spidey senses are tingling a little bit right now. It was a collection of people. What do we got going on here? Another timeout by Cincinnati.
2 timeouts in the first 10 minutes of the game is not a good sign.
No. The worst is when these teams take like a timeout like this in the third quarter, like, and not realize that the 5 yards that they're going to lose, the timeout is worth way more than the 5 yards. Way more.
100%. Yes. I also feel like, and I'm far from a football expert, but like there's got to be a good correlation between like good teams and getting to the line on time and getting plays out. Like Tom Brady was never calling timeouts at the line.
No, but Tom Brady was just always getting bailed out by the refs, so it didn't matter. He sure. The play clock could expire and Tom Brady could snap it 3 seconds later and they're not calling a delay a game. Because
fair.
One thing I will say about Brady, the fact that he was so animated and got into refs' faces like that, I think really worked in his favor. Because he was the best player, but he was also very vocal with that stuff. Oh, that's a sack. Jadeveon Clowney, who gets my vote for most underrated player in the league. Clowney was
still a good player, Clowney.
Yeah, people were always obsessed with like his sack rates, right? Because they were low relative. I mean, for an elite pass rusher, his sack rates were always very low. He couldn't finish it off, but man, his pressure rates were always super high. And I thought that was still extremely impactful. Burrow's frustrated on the sideline there. What do we think the live total in this game is here?
That's an answer for Rob.
That's not a you question. I'm only asking because the primetime under, it looked like an easy over to start, but now it's slowed down a little bit. Yeah.
I also think we got a report that it's a high ankle for Andrew, so that was a good call. Yeah. Cash your under, but don't celebrate. Don't celebrate.
No, I'm not going to celebrate. I'm just glad it wasn't an Achilles for him. Listen, Kirk, if it's up to me, right? I don't want to see these guys get hurt. I just want them to be malnourished. I want them to be like getting cramps on the field and they have to go to the locker room, get an IV. You know, if there was a game a couple years ago where Lamar Jackson had to take a shit mid-game and he ran to the locker room.
I remember that.
That's what I want. That was against the Browns on and I think they still scored like 47 points in the game or whatever.
I think the Ravens won that game too. Like he came back and led them down.
I'm almost certain I lost that game on a safety. I think the spread was 3 and it ended 47-42. Something stupid happened in that game. Somebody has to remember what happened in that game for me. I've tried to wipe it from my memory, but I lost. I was very frustrated. And yes, how fitting that it was the Browns. Oh my God, that was a painful game. But yeah, I just remember him going to the locker room, needed to take a dump. I think he denies that, but obviously that's what with the way that he was gingerly walking to the locker room. Let's see if we could get that clip, Zach. I'm sure you have it of him in the.
Yeah. Oh, that's obviously
that is. He's definitely pinching a shit right there, without a doubt.
There's no doubt about that.
But yeah, I mean that's what happened that night, and he came back in. Yes, it was a safety. They remember. The people remember. Ravens were -3. They won 47-42. There was a final safety at the end of the game there.
That wave at the guy coming out of the door too was also the ultimate get the fuck out the way, I gotta go.
That's producer Zack.
Who hasn't had that moment?
If people don't recognize the voice, Zach is just plowing some sushi behind the scenes and doesn't want to get on camera. As I should have got some
now.
sushi.
We're good.
You're good now? There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You want 2K subs for Edgework, Zach? Yeah, people, what's going on, man? Sub to Edgework. To Edgework. I had to sit through
pain and people watching me on camera last year watch Leafs games. I'm willing to do it again for people this year, but only at 2,000 subscribers on the Edgework channel. That was the stipulation. Put that in place this week. You get us to 2,000. We'll figure out some watch-alongs. Maybe some Habs Leafs. Actually, I don't know.
No, I don't want to do that stuff.
I don't know about that one. But Rangers, Leafs, that kind of stuff. But 2,000. That's what I want. 2,000 subscribers on Edgework.
Yeah. Is Edgework your landscaping business, Zach? Actually, it's actually funny that this is mentioned. Do you care if I share, Zach? Your previous employment prior to the Hammer?
Yeah, that's fine.
What was in what field?
Yeah, it was landscaping.
Don has no idea about this as well. No. This is what makes it so good. Oh man. Yeah. I don't mean to demean. I'm just saying that the landscaping comment was a little bit too on point.
Too close now.
That was pretty. yeah. No, you want a good story about that one time? So a lot of it was just like you learn, you teach yourself. So.
Yes. Sorry, that was Gus Edwards.
No, it's all good.
Reception, the one reception we needed to Gus, over half cash money. So I have to celebrate these a lot because I don't win a lot of these bets. So I gotta Thank you, D2 Gus Edwards winner. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I was just gonna say the one time I was doing it, and you teach yourself a lot of the stuff. But they said to me, my boss says to me one day, "Yeah, tomorrow you're going to this TV set. They're filming a commercial there. It's in downtown Toronto. You head out there. You got to help prep the set for all the landscaping that needs to be done before the shoot happens." I'm like, all right, sounds good. Loads me up with all the stuff that I need for that morning. Take the truck down there, drive down there myself. And I get there. There's not a single person there. I'm like, where the fuck am I? It's just this street corner, like Toronto, just on the outskirts of downtown, not quite downtown.
Oh.
And
sorry, Zach, I have to stop you.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm looking at this.
Lamar is down.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is it me?
Lamar is down. You remember when I said all the Twitter mushes were? How does Book It Trent do it, man? Let's see what happens. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
It looks like he's in serious discomfort on the side there.
His left ankle was landed on, but didn't look like it twisted.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
I think he's going to be okay.
I can't really tell. Yeah.
It definitely looked like he went to grab his left ankle.
Yeah. I honestly you never know, but like the
Right
replay
leg.
didn't look that bad. It just looked like maybe a little bit of body weight on the left leg, but yeah, arm. I don't know what it was. Could have been a groin spasm.
That was
Could
what
have
I
been a
thought at
groin
first
spasm.
as well.
The Anthony
was
Davis
right
special, right? Spasm of the groin.
Paul Pierce in the wheelchair.
Some of those were so. Yeah, Paul Pierce just needed to get some fluids, man. That you just need to get some fluids into him. That's all I hope for when I bet unders on other medical tent. Lamar going into the tent.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple years ago on prime time, he pitched a tent, and this time he's in the medical tent.
I think he's fine.
We'll see. Could it be just that the primetime unders never lose? Could it be?
Got to be looking good at this point.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This is usually the chat is pretty dialed in terms of the doctoring going on. This is the worst I've ever seen right now.
No,
ankle went the wrong way, stepped
all
on his
up.
hand, knee. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah. We have no consensus in the chat. We sometimes have the dentist in here, Dr. Riku. He's sometimes in here diagnosing injuries. He's got like a 0% hit rate on those. I think he's done like 3 so far this year, and he's not even been close.
Are dentists better than just a layperson at getting injuries? Like, if it was a tooth injury, maybe.
I've always wondered. We also have Dr. Eric Eager in the third quarters of these games sometimes. Different type of doctor, certainly. Fake doctor, I would say. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't anyways, sorry, Zach. A lot happened there.
Oh, it's all
the
good.
End of your story.
No, I just get sent to the place, and no one's there. There's nobody to help. Nothing's going on. And so I call my boss. He's like, I don't really know. They just told me they're going to send you down there. They're supposed to help. Here's the guy's number. So I call him, and he's like, yeah, you got to mow the lawn. Whatever, I do that. And then he's like, yeah, and you got to trim the hedges out front, which, first of all, I've never done and is actually something that's supposed to be done by a professional. Like, of all the things, like, that's like an arborist, like, you're supposed to have. They just sent me. I was like 19 at the time. Just take the truck down there, go. I'm also 5'10". The hedges were approximately like 7 feet tall. So I was taking those Home Depot buckets and standing on them and just tripping around trimming hedges. And then this guy comes out of the front of the house and he's like, what are you doing? He lived there and no one told him that I was coming to prep it for this thing. So you've got me standing there, can't see the top of the hedges, just trimming hedges over my head, like 2 feet above, standing on a wobbly Home Depot bucket. And this guy comes out and says, what the fuck are you doing at my house right now? And then, yeah, it's just.
I thought you were going to say you were in the wrong place.
Yes. Trimming the wrong guy's hedges. That could have
we had that
alternate
happen
meanings,
before once.
But, yeah. that could have alternate.
Yeah.
We might have to change the channel to hedge work.
Yeah, that was hedging's for gardeners.
Hedging is for gardeners. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, Bengals are driving here. As I say that, Burrow immediately takes a sack. I can't time this stuff any better.
Man, it's the primetime unders.
Yep.
Why are we not
Why? I mean,
max 10 unit whale betting news?
Dude, I mean, the market was moving towards the over all week on this game. Just over getting bet over and over. Little did they know.
Did they not get told that 10 straight prime times under?
It's honestly an absurd record last couple years. It's really dumb. Oh, an overthrow. We're gonna have a nice 3rd and 17.
3rd and 17.
The old 3rd and 17 screen pass incoming. Maybe a little draw play.
Yeah.
Get the easier field goal.
Yeah, well, they're pretty this is pretty deep field goal range right now.
Oh, so, okay. We got some breaking news here, Kirk.
Yeah.
Harala Bob just tweeted, and people seem to think that.
How do I reach out to Harala Bob?
To reach out to Harala Bob, we do need him on Circles Off. Yeah, you might have a new partner. You might have a new business partner there, Kirk.
Not to be like too conceited, but I'm 100% sure he's talking about me. But a bit of a weird time, maybe not about me, because it's a bit of a weird time to tweet it, because no one has moved the overnight odds today. Like, unless he's referring to other days, like no one's really, they haven't come up on bookmakers actually opening now. Good time for this quarter to end, actually.
Good time for the quarter to end. Appreciate Kirk joining us. He's on the board, NBA, every single week. He recorded earlier today with Jacob Gramenya. You can check it out on the board YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out on Twitter as well. His handle right there on the screen, Kirk Evans 0. Appreciate it, man. You can get to your NBA betting. Well, do you have a prop for Warriors Thunder before you leave? Like, the people are jonesing, man. These people are jonesing for action.
Like, I would take, if you could get this over 225.5 at Bet Online, it seems like it's taking some late steam to the under. I lean the over, but this is taking some pretty late steam to the under. So I don't know, hard to really think that's plus EV, but Bookmaker and Penn are 226.5. So if you can get 225.5, I think you're probably good.
All right, there you go. I'll let you go now so that you can reach out to Harala Bob. Tell him you're the guy that's betting the overnights and see if you can strike up some sort of deal. But tell him you're not doing anything unless he agrees to a circles off appearance. That's it.
Sounds like a deal. Sounds like a deal. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Kirk. All right. It's Kirk Evans, everyone.
Bye-bye.
From one avid NBA bettor to another, I will say the flowing locks, they always get me, man. I'm so jealous.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Oh, where's the Bengal? Where's your Bengals jacket?
I didn't bet the Bengals today.
Oh,
So I wish I had kind of now. Obviously, like
somebody messaged me and told me you killed Mark Andrews. I figured you bet the Bengals. No,
I bet Mark Andrews unders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it happened.
Those are good.
they should be okay. They should be okay. Yeah. So far, I mean, I'm counting that as a win. I hit the Gus Edwards receptions over half in the first quarter, which was nice as well. So I got a few wins under my belt, which is nice in the early going. What do you got? Bad Cincy money line. Yeah, I heard you on You Bet this week, and you like the Bengals in this one.
Yeah, I took plus 163 thinking I got a good price. It went down, and then the close today was, I think, plus 175 or something. So yeah. Not so hot. And I mean, my handicap was pretty weak. I'll be perfectly honest. I might be guilty of wanting some skin in the most important primetime game it feels like we've had in 10 years. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. It's not been 10 years, but it feels like we haven't had a good primetime game all year.
Yeah.
And so, I looked at, I thought this probably should have been around a 3. The fact that it was over 3.5, and in general, just the money line price, I made it like plus 140. And I was like, man, this is too good. I just got to take that. And, kicking these field goals isn't feeling super. Oh, that was a miss though, which is, Evan McPherson continues to haunt me. His rookie year. There's a fun story for you. You ready? The year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl with Burrow, and what was that, year 2?
Yep, second year.
So we previewed every team preseason. We previewed the Bengals that year. Andy and I just absolutely shit on them. Like, just this team stinks,
dude. They got faded in market like every game that year.
So out on them, right? And then like specifically brought up the fact that they drafted a kicker. We're like, Evan McPherson, who is this? Who is this guy? You're wasting draft capital on a kicker when you got holes everywhere.
Right.
I mean, just absolutely laid into them. I think we actually advocated for like a ladder under win total. With like is under 6.5 even enough? Like, let's play under 5. Let's play under 2.5. Like this team could win 2 games. And Then I think the first game of the season was the one where they were up against the Vikings and Dalvin Cook fumbled in overtime, and then Evan McPherson hit like a 30 or like a 50-yard field goal or something like that to win. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's going to be one of those seasons then. And I had just a brutal season all year long that year, so it wasn't even just the preseason takes that didn't work out for me. But Rams made me whole in the Super Bowl, and I counted on Evan McPherson on the Circles Off Super Bowl preview. I thought he was going to make the longest field goal because the intel was basically that Brian Gay was like legitimately hurt. And for the first time all year in that game, what's his name? Zach Taylor, most anonymous coach in professional football.
Which is a good thing, in my opinion. The fact that we don't talk about him is a good thing.
Probably true. Yeah, that's probably true. But he's typically, was that a super late flag? Oh boy. Whoa, boy, that one was late. Anyway, we don't need to go there, I guess. But yeah, Zach Taylor was not an especially aggressive coach, and he was attempting 50-yard field goals regularly. He went for it a couple times in that game that would have easily, gotten the longest field goal home for Evan McPherson. But since that rookie year where he was unbelievably good, he's been pretty questionable, pretty spotty. So this is another example. I mean, 53 is not a chip shot by any stretch of the imagination, but his 50-yarder that he made in this first make was a little sketch. It was a little bit of a close call. Anyway,
this was Isaiah Likely target there that Hill got called for the PI.
Looked like good defense to me.
You know what? As soon as they put their hand on the hip, they call it every time now, even if they don't really turn the receiver. It's just like an auto flag every single time.
That was good defense. Woo. Woo.
That was Rashad Bateman, who
baby.
I may or may not have had. Actually, we only had first touchdown market. That was a great play, though. That was a great play.
Is that Britt Taylor?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. It was 29?
Yep. Taylor Britt.
Taylor Britt. Yeah. Whatever his name is. Yeah. Whew. That was good defense. That was a nice ball by Lamar. Is it Lamar still? Or is
it is Lamar. He's recovered from, we believe it was a spasm of the groin that he may have left the game with. The Anthony Davis special, but
popped in the old in the family jewels.
Yeah, something. I mean, it looked very weird. I don't know what the injury is going to be afterwards.
It really looked like he hit the turf just kind of hard, and it kind of wasn't really ready for it. I don't know.
Yeah. We got a game coming up here shortly. P-Don's like Swiggins under 4.5 rebounds, good to plus 100. I don't know if you have a take on that. You in the props market for NBA, or you mostly focus on?
No. I only play sides, and I've been pretty light this year so far. Like I've had a couple like early in the season. You really kind of just zero in on a couple of teams and a couple of what I would call like golden angles, right? Where it's just like there's fundamentally a broken price on a side for whatever reason. Good example was like to start the season, like they were pricing first quarter Nuggets, like just slash the full game by 4. But the way that they were doing minutes distributions, it was like you were getting 90% of like elite starters, over the balance of a first quarter. And then when you have elite starters with the bench, which was lesser, like they were elevating the performance of those bench guys. And so like the net rating on the Nuggets when they were at full strength in the first quarter was like plus 40. Like it was like absolutely, it was just an absurd net rating for them. And Murray got hurt, so I stopped betting it. So I could talk about it now, but you find a couple of golden angles like that, and you just kind of pick on those early in the season until you get into the fatigue time of the year. And we're getting close to that now. So I'll get more involved in NBA as we cycle out of NFL, I guess.
Yeah, I can't even like I'm betting hockey now. I started a couple weeks ago, beginning of November, but even then I cannot keep up with the day to day. It's just like, thank God this stuff is automated, because when anything overlaps with NFL, it's just so hard, man. Especially with me and you, we're doing some content for NFL as well. You got to be on top of the ball with everything.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, there's more money to be made if you are like a god mode originator in the NBA, but like with the proliferation of all-in-one stuff that's super good, like you're not you need other ways, I think, to really beat NBA and at least sides. But it's good to, I don't know, I freaking love to play NBA playoffs. Like that's the only thing I got going on that time of year, really, other than like some rando tennis. So it's huge to have some ground truthing on what coaching tendencies, rotations, and like how teams will adjust to each other in terms of like what you're seeing. And if you're not paying attention at all during the regular season, then you're shooting blind there. So I like that, because it was funny. I'm curious if you bet NHL playoffs at all, but like NBA regular season is literally just numbers, plug and play.
Yep.
NBA playoffs is flip the switch and it's like vibes. It's like
I get the same thing a little bit. It's a different game. I'll say this, like the people who just like take their regular season numbers at the end and just like they price playoffs based off of that, it's wrong. That's the most I'm going to say about it, but it is very much a matchups type of thing. And you'll get some like amazing series prices and stuff like that. So
Hudson came to play today. Somebody from the Bengals decided they wanted to catch the fucking football. My God, man, the drops so far have been killing me in this one. And it's not like that they haven't all been perfect balls by Burrow, but Hudson, let's keep targeting that guy. Chase probably should just have taken a couple weeks off like he said he wanted to. He's not playing well at all.
Yes. This might be a bad time to tell you I lost Tanner Hudson under receiving yards right there.
Okay. Well,
it's okay. I don't care.
Now that it's an L, let's keep going. Like
it's an L. Yeah, exactly.
You didn't points bet it. You didn't leading bet it.
Honestly, tiny bet. The thing, like Hudson he's on the field for like 25 snaps a game. He's still getting like less tight end share than Irv Smith and who's the other tight end that I'm missing in the trident that they have for Cincinnati. Drew Sample.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, what am I going to do? Life goes on.
Let me ask you some questions about this matchup in particular, because you said you didn't bet it.
My number in the game was, I said this right before we went on air. If I had to bet, I would have taken the Bengals 4 at the closing numbers. But I was kind of like right in between. I was right around market all week. It just kept bouncing around 3.5, 4, right?
All right. So I bet this one, even though I probably need to just take a deep breath and step away from the Ravens because I don't really know how to handicap this team right now. There are 3 really, really tough questions that I can't answer. I'm curious if you have an opinion on these. The first is the defensive metrics since they traded for Roquan Smith say that this is like all-time good defense, right?
Yep.
It doesn't look that good. And in particular, like watching the Browns game and like banging my head against the wall, having laid the Ravens, like they could not stop the run. You know who has had no problem stopping Jerome Ford? Everybody who's played Jerome Ford.
Right.
And so it was very, very like, why? What is happening? What is going on? And it felt like they're just teams have kind of decided like we need to kind of put 2 hats on, Smith and just run at Patrick Queen or something. Yep. Like I kind of feel like Queen is the weak link in the armor here, and teams that know how to scheme for the Ravens are capable of doing it. Like the Bengals are not a good running team, but they've been impressive so far tonight when they've gone to the ground. And I don't know, like, what is a fair rating for this Ravens defense? And is it opponent specific, or is it just sometimes they all play well and sometimes they don't?
Well, first and foremost, like context matters. I had a tweet about this that I got into like an argument years ago with Rufus about, where he was talking about like efficiency rankings for offenses and defenses and stuff. But if you look at their schedule, they've played the 3rd easiest schedule in terms of opponent success rates.
Sure.
If you strip out the, specific Ravens games, it's still been a very easy schedule. So that matters. I think the Ravens defense is very good. Can you game plan to beat them? Sure. This is not like a historically great defense. I think the challenge is you look around the league, for me, Cleveland's the best defense. personally.
Okay. Just
Overall.
because their front four is so dominant?
Yes, exactly. Like I would much rather Cleveland's defense in the playoffs that I think can wreak more havoc, generally speaking, than Baltimore's. But there's no like the age of like the dominant defense. It's kind of like if you look at the first 4 or 5 games of the year, people were talking about San Francisco's defense like it was going to be, this team's going to run away with the Super Bowl. Not only do they have the offense, but no one can move the ball on them. It was right after that Dallas game where they made Prescott look like a lemon, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, all these defenses have holes. That was a great play to Tyler
Beautiful
Boyd
pass.
there.
Yeah, beautiful pass.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know, like in the last year and a half, and maybe it's been bad quarterback play more than anything else, but it does feel like we are kind of living in an age of defensive revival. It's a weak link system, so injuries, maybe like one injury to a player that you think may not matter a ton actually does matter a ton, or like quiet injuries that aren't talked about or aren't reported are impactful. I just I can't really put my finger on the Ravens defense and how to properly rate them, because like I have a huge amount of respect for the Lions offense. They drew dead in the game.
Yep.
I have a huge amount of respect for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say huge. I have a modicum of respect for the Seahawks and what Dave Canales has done this season. They were drawn dead. There's definitely no one could solve the Cincinnati 11 personnel looks until McDonald figured it out last year, right? But
isn't it funny though? Like so the comeback last week by the Browns, everyone's fixated on them, like, oh, they're just blowing these games in the fourth quarter. Well, actually, like they led wire to wire against the Lions and Seahawks. Do we not forget that they're capable of doing this? The only pushback I have is that we are seeing a defensive resurgence, but it's more scheme based, right? Like I talk to Eager about this pretty much every week when we're watching the game. And it's like, look at how many too high looks that these teams are getting regularly. Like some safeties aren't playing close to. It's almost like the league as a whole has just said, you know what? There's so many bad quarterbacks nowadays. Let's see you go down the field in 14, 15 plays and score a touchdown and punch it in the red zone. Like we're not going to give you the 30-yard pass, the 20-yard pass over the top. Find a way to consistently get it downfield, and there's going to be one disruptive play on that drive in the form of a sack, and it feels like that's almost impossible for so many teams to overcome. Yeah. So I don't know that it's like necessarily like this defensive resurgence in the sense that like we have these dominating defenses. It almost feels to me it's like the defensive coordinators are saying there's so many bad quarterbacks in this league nowadays. Beat us. Go down the field on us. Go for it. See what happens.
You got like 20 teams that are all implementing Belichick, bend, don't break, cross the street 100 times type of stuff.
How's the Raiders defense hold up, Drew? They have Max Crosby and nobody. How do they hold up on a weekly basis? They play this style of defense and they hold up in the red zone. And occasionally they're going to force some chaos and a turnover. Sure. It doesn't, that's kind of what I'm seeing.
I mean, I feel like that one specifically puts a super exclamation point on your concept, which is they've played Zach Wilson, Tommy DeVito, Tyson Bagent, Mac Jones, and Jordan Love. That's 5 of the last 6 defense. 5 of the last 6 quarterbacks that the Raiders have gone against. And the one guy that they played with the pulse in Goff shredded them in that game. They just had weird bad luck.
You play against Zach. You play against those quarterbacks. There we go. We're in.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Well, to the point of this right now, sometimes it's the most like square mentality ever with some things, right? In the NFL. But like,
there's a lot of that for sure. Yeah.
The elite quarterback as an underdog type of thing.
Yeah.
Like getting.
Just don't fight it. Yeah. Don't fight it.
I can break down this match, and there's a lot to go. There's a lot to go in this match. I'm not suggesting the game's over by any stretch of the imagination.
But thinking this wasn't going to be competitive, laying points with Baltimore, right?
It's like, and there's people taking out like alternate spreads on Baltimore and whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, Cincinnati can lose in a blowout. They did it last year. I think it was Halloween night against the Browns. Horrible game. They got shellacked in that one.
What's going on with Burrow here?
Something.
This is interesting because there was the weird social media 24 hours of him wearing a what looked like a brace, and everybody claiming that it was some sort of iPad protective device, which never. What? No one uses.
But this is the weirdest thing ever, Drew. Like, it was non-contact. He threw the ball and just started grabbing his wrist.
It's like he somehow, maybe he got popped in like his pinky or something.
Yeah, like the nerve that.
Yeah,
this happens on the left side of my body. I have nerve issues on the left side.
You know what? He might have been sending a lot of emails, carpal tunnel acting up.
You know what? Could have been him answering the call from FanDuel saying we need the primetime under.
That could have been
we need the primetime under. Slow down, bud. You know, and maybe that
McAfee's on the line. Yeah,
McAfee on the line,
yeah.
Dude. We got all these sports books rooting for the unders. Oh God, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Some of you should have carpal tunnel from smashing the like button down below. Some of you should have carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
Smash that like button down below.
Is smash the like button? Is that a hammer thing? And I mean, why not just hammer the like button, right? Because like then you get people in the mindset of hammer, right?
You know, I should be saying hammer the like
controversial.
Button. You know what, Drew? Afterwards, I'll send you a contract in the email. You can be a consultant for us, help improve the broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got some more for you. Ready?
Yep.
I know you got Eric and Barry coming up later.
We call him Sir Barry.
Sir Barry, Sir Horse,
King Barry, Sir Horse, King Barry,
Mr. Horse, yes, Mr. Horse. We're on opposite sides here for the other big AFC North matchup of the week, right?
Mm-hmm. Me and you are on opposite sides.
Me and you are, yeah.
Did you get the early price or the late price?
No, I caught the Pico top of the money line and the spread for Pittsburgh.
Okay, so we're not. Yeah. I know what you're saying. We're going to be rooting for the opposite sides, but at very different numbers.
At very different numbers. But if Pittsburgh money line gets home, it's going to be a wonderful day in the Whale household on Sunday. But I think honestly, I'm not even joking. I got plus 177, and if you go in like Spank Odds and other places and like try to find where was 177 and ever available, like I must have been at the exact right time, exactly when they had moved the number from someone else betting Browns, because I got like best price available on that. Anyway,
this story sounds a little bit made up, Drew. You might have to produce just because GRP wins is on my case. You may have to produce a ticket for this plus 177.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We
might have to produce a ticket.
Yes. I don't want to be. I don't want to put like bet stamp in a tight spot and like past backdating stuff. But we can produce some evidence. Anyway, what I'd like when you get to Mr. Horse, and I'm kind of setting you up for this, but like just kind of make your case for why you should bet on DTR. Yeah, you just kind of like lay it out for him. Just say like, am I missing something about DTR here? And just kind of get his honest reaction there, because I'd like to hear it.
I will do this because I've actually had this conversation with him before, but I will do it for the people on air. Yes. Okay. I believe the last time I had Berryhorse on Circles Off, it might have been week 2 NFL, in which was the game where DTR started against the Ravens and got smoked. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Let's patiently waiting some clarification here, but the DTR versus the Ravens game is interesting for a couple reasons. You know why? Thank you. That was a pretty clear hold.
Lamar's very he was very upset.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got to stop you here, Drew.
We'll call coming.
We'll get to this in 1 second, but dude,
yeah.
Zay Flowers was like, I don't know. I was waiting for a defender to be anywhere in the neighborhood of, he like broke one tackle and it was gone.
Yeah, I mean, the nearest defender got sort of held by OBJ. Ooh, that was
sort of held is good is the terminology I would use. Yes,
that was a little ticky tack. I gotta admit it.
There's going
to be a makeup call before I depart the stream. I could pretty much promise you. All right,
that was the script from the sports books.
Yeah. Hey,
keep the score in down. Like you can drive and score a touchdown. Just take 10 minutes off the clock while you do so. Right.
So now Burrow, we're at a primetime game that matters a ton. We've lost Mark Andrews for the duration, and both Burrow and Lamar now have headed into get injury evaluations. That's not how Amazon drew it up. I can't imagine. But so separate. So going back to the DTR Ravens thing while we await any kind of update here.
I'm gonna have to live bet the under like immediately right now.
Well, I mean,
I'm just trying.
I mean, if this is now. Who Brandon Allen handing off to Joe Mixon? I mean, this is gonna go.
It's what's his name's the backup? It's not Allen anymore. Jake Browning.
Jake Browning.
Yeah, I'm almost certain Jake Browning.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Who's like he was with Washington right back in the day.
Washington Huskies. Yeah.
Huskies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he got drafted.
He was a undrafted free agent for the Vikings for a hot minute, and then practice squad guy for the Bengals as of 9/21. So he's worked his way up. He's a grinder. That's what we like to think of him as, a grinder. He beat out the great Brandon Allen, so he has some kind of a pulse, right?
Yeah, back in the day, grinder meant something else to me.
Yeah,
not
right.
But whatever.
Okay, so real quick, back to the DTR Ravens game. Almost everybody that I know that bet that game got Ravens at a dog price.
Yep.
Would it surprise you to know that is the only time that the closing favorite in an AFC North clash this season has been the victor? Dogs 5-1 straight up in AFC North clashes, except for that Ravens-Browns game. And I would argue that everyone who bet that game had a dog price on the Ravens.
For sure.
So let's just call it 6-0. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that's fair.
AFC North. Bet the dog. More of this like left curve, right curve shit in NFL. There's a lot of it and people won't recognize it, but that's fine. The people on the left side of the curve are like, there's value on the dog. People on the right side of the curve are like, smash the dog.
So I'm at this. Here's the thing with DTR, right? I strongly believe that people overvalue these young quarterbacks that look good in the preseason. They tend, Brinks is in the chat, right? Brinks would message me on the side all the time about like Aiden O'Connell, right? Aiden O'Connell's the truth. He's the real deal. Imagine if the Jets had Aiden O'Connell instead of Zach Wilson. I'm like, dude, it'd be no different. He's checks down on every play. He's not very good. DTR, though, I listened to Simple Handicap this morning with Chernoff, and I kind of agree with him in his breakdown of that first game for DTR was like he found out he was starting like the night before.
There's some dispute there.
Yeah, he might have known a little bit earlier. I don't like the Steelers defense as much as other people do. Now, the tackles are an issue for the Browns against that pass rush. But since Minkah Fitzpatrick has gone out, like Jordan Love looked like a real quarterback last week. Will Levis looked like a real quarterback in his start there a couple weeks ago. I'm not as high on the Steelers defense as maybe market or other people. I think there's lots of opportunity for the Browns offense.
Okay. I think if I wouldn't hang my hat on DTR is going to be better because he's going to have more preparation, because I don't think it was as big a surprise as the information cycle made it out to be that Watson wasn't going to play.
So P-Don said, so we did have Berryhorse
on that pod.
Well, so October 5th was Berryhorse part 2. October 1st was Ravens Browns. So it was pretty fresh in his mind. I knew we had talked to him. I didn't know if it was on air or not, but he was very, very low on DTR. Yes, I do recall that. Yeah. Very low.
No, I eagerly await this part of the conversation. I can't add anything to it. I have no idea about DTR, although I will say it is like wildly like there are two things that have happened this year in backup quarterback that have kind of like weirdly like shifted the balance of power in the NFL. Like the fact that DTR played so well in limited preseason that they traded Josh Dobbs away and now he's on Minnesota is kind of bananas. And then the fact that the Dolphins went and scooped Mike White from the Jets so that the Jets are stuck with Wilson, like, and that they have Mike White in case something happens to Tua. Like that feels like two kind of somewhat weird, absolutely get passed over transactions that have some kind of meaningful consequence. Yeah, I mean,
so that's like that. Here's another thing, right? The fact that they're going to DTR instead of PJ Walker. The coaching staff believes that he gives them a better chance to win. Now, that's not saying much. Don't get me wrong. Walker's been like career EPA-wise, success rate-wise, been abysmal, right?
Sure.
But the fact that they're not going back to Walker, I think is telling, for one. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. The second thing I want to say is Pickett is also basically a backup, right?
Okay, so
Pickett's success rate, EPA numbers are brutal. They're backup level.
Yes.
Great tweet this week. I don't know who did it. I can't give credit to them. Kenny Pickett touchdown passes over the past 2 seasons, 13.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan touchdown passes over the past 2 seasons, 14.
Yeah, you know what though? Like Kenny Pickett is asked to not turn over the ball and win games 20-17, and that's what they do. Like I kind of I don't have some grand defense for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
like he's not good, but he somehow, some way is at least kind of not turning the ball over, and that has been pretty important for the Steelers. He has 4 picks, and he has fumbled once, and they recovered the fumble. So he has 4 turnovers this whole year. Oh, how is that caught? My God.
Okay, dude. So
that's your boy, though.
That they're calling it right wrist. Did you notice when they did the zoom in?
I don't want to spoil it for you, but
I'm about to see it right now. Oh, this stuff is upsetting. What's the flag?
Don't know yet. I think they're going to call it touchdown.
First and foremost, I do have a very large, substantial prop bet on Nelson Aguilar over receiving yards.
It is a defensive penalty. I think they are going to decline it. So you are good to go.
If we go back to when we saw the Burrow hand, it looked like his pinky was messed up. Is that permanent?
It was wildly swollen on the out. I think it's this bone down here because that part of his hand is super swollen.
His pinky was like doing a weird thing, almost like it was spat. I don't know. I don't want to. That's what it looked like to me.
Dude, the Bengals defense is killing me. Jesus,
yeah,
that was some pretty miserable tackling. That's 2 times on that same drive. Wow. Well. Not great for the old Bengals money line, that's for sure. Nelson Aguilar caught the ball this time. Still, oh man, and this was a crazy one too because that could have been picked pretty easily. Jeez, these replays are killing me. He couldn't have had hands like that on the, I don't know, the
my God.
onside kick.
No, dude, no. We're not going down this path again, man. I cannot relive that memory. Cannot relive that.
It's just weird. It's like, you know what should disqualify you from coach of the year consideration? If you're a special teams coach and you put Nelson Aguilar on the hands team, like that right away, that should eliminate you from any kind of award in the coach of the year standings. Damn it, man. That one hurt.
Did Joe Burrow appear on the injury report this week?
No.
This is the bullshit of all bullshit, man.
No, but you saw everything today, right?
The
Bengals tweeted a picture of him getting off the plane, and it gained traction because it looked like he was wearing a wrist brace.
Yeah.
And then And it was like, well, why in the world would you delete that? Like, that's weird. And then people found like the Zapruder film that showed him walking and he looked like he was wearing some sort of glove. It apparently didn't make the injury report conveniently.
Well, like this is my, I get really frustrated with this stuff because I feel like, Drew, we've been betting a long time.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh boy. Well,
I'm just seeing a touchback right now. You're that far ahead of me. Oh, you're just seeing Jake Browning run into the game. That's what, and you took a heavy drink. That was not a sip. That was the old doubler. Yeah, there's the picture right there. Wow. Coming off. Oh yeah. Like, see, this is the thing, right? If you want to embrace betting as a league,
mm-hmm.
you have these things like that. He obviously is going in with a wrist injury. That has to be disclosed, period. Plain and simple. Like, it has to be.
Hey, they kept that under wraps because I know people, and I sent that around and I asked, and nobody had anything. They were like, literally the answers I got were like, people seemed to think it was some sort of iPad, like keep your hand from like obscuring, smudging the iPad or something stupid. I was like, that's ridiculous.
No.
Like,
but they have to disclose that. Like this, Drew, we've been betting for a long time, right? And I don't want to disparage like new bettors in the space, new content creators, but over the last several years, there's been a lot of people that have come into the space who seem to think that the games are fixed, the world is out to get them, and whatever. And when you do not disclose an injury like that, and something like this happens, there are going to be a lot of people that feel fucked over by the fact that they bet the Bengals or Burrow over on passing yards. Yeah. And when that happens, it's not a good look for the league. So when this shit happens, which already happened earlier this year, by the way, I can't remember which specific game. Oh, it was the Bijan Robinson illness with Arthur Smith, where he didn't disclose. This is horrible for the league, and they have to come down hard on this shit. They really do. Like Zach Taylor, you not the Harbaugh suspension where he can coach throughout the week and whatever. You're not seeing your team for 2 weeks, for a month. People need to realize that this is not right.
Yeah, this is Mickey Mouse shit.
It is. If you're going to embrace betting, you have to make sure that this shit, like, it's everyone's got to feel like they're not done in by. Done in by. That's it.
I feel like there's a saying that kind of would encapsulate this, like we bet real Canadian dollars on this.
Yeah. When you say real dollars, the Canadian dollar is not real. I could tell you by the exchange rate.
We bet real loonies on this.
Yes. I can tell you by the exchange rate. It's not real. I don't have a real reason to be super frustrated by this because I don't have any Burrow bets. But broken wrist throwing hand, maybe possibly out for season.
Who posted that? Can you scroll up a smidge?
Big Kahuna.
Big Kahuna. Oh well, he's Big E Kahuna one is he's never been wrong.
Do you think Zach got? You think producer Zach got by the Big Kahuna?
No, but you gotta always wonder who is behind the Big Kahuna, Big E Kahuna one account.
Yes.
I was just trying to show the video of him doing that. Yeah, more than anything. So that was on me. There was no context added.
No, the video speaks for itself, I think, which is he's not playing the rest of tonight. And the fact that it happened on a pass where he didn't even get hit is especially concerning because that means there was something going on. And all right, so didn't want to go here, don't like going here, and it feels a little that's what everybody was claiming it was, but
that it was an iPad drawing glove.
Come on, nonsense.
Get real.
All right, get real. Right, that's my legitimate response to somebody who would have known. Anyway, the question has to be asked, and this goes back now to Burrow as a rookie. He's a little slight to be playing quarterback. And I figured he would become an adult male and grow up and get a little bigger and like grow out of these injuries. But like this is now 2 massive consequential injuries in 1 year. And what, 4 now?
Yeah.
Since he's been since he's been in the league.
Yes.
I mean, this is I mean, I'd like to believe that he will play out his contract that he got in the offseason and it will earn every dollar, but I don't know, man. Fragile Burrow has been in the back of my head for a long time, and this isn't helping.
That's the pinky, right? Like, look at the pinky. Doesn't that?
Well, what I would look at, like, look at the how wide it goes on the hand below the pinky. That's not right. And
yes,
that's not right. And the fact that it happened on a non-contact is especially concerning because that means something must have happened in the Texans game and they played him through it and on a short rest
or in practice or something. But it's I mean, it's just like no one really knows about that going into the game. And
he was hit the play before. Okay, I don't know.
Well, he's obviously wearing a wrist wrap. Like there's obviously some pre-existing injury that he's dealing with.
I'm gonna take not a scumbag's word for it because he's not a scumbag. So let's assume he may have gotten hit on the play before.
That's one of very few people in this chat that's not a scumbag, by the way. Wow, what a pass that was. Okay, so I wanted to say this before we get here, Drew, but
beautiful.
I've done extensive research on backup quarterbacks entering mid-game. They outplay, they overperform by a country mile for the most part.
When it's this time of the year, absolutely.
No one's ever seen, the Ravens have never seen Jake Browning before. They have no idea what's coming.
They know they had a plan to stop Joe Burrow. They might have had a plan to stop Brandon Allen.
Right.
Like I would have had a plan to stop Brandon Allen, and that would be out the window too. So yeah.
But next week we're going to get Bengals Steelers, and the Steelers are going to have all sorts of looks at Jake Browning in the week leading up to that game. Because they're going to have like a, what's the official review here, by the way? Did he drop the ball?
I have no clue. You just blew my mind though, because the idea of the Steelers drawing DTR and Browning back to back. I mean, the Tomlin voodoo is a joke, right? It's a joke.
It is
right?
a joke.
You want to go on? We're on record. Everyone's on record. This is tongue-in-cheek sarcasm. Tomlin voodoo is a joke. It's not real. It's not real.
It's a joke. Although I could see Tomlin sitting at home tonight with an actual voodoo doll of Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Just like,
I have news for you, Rob. Mike Tomlin, not only is he in the running for coach of the year, he's in the running for dad of the year because he went to the Pittsburgh BC game to watch his son play college football. And he's nowhere near a voodoo doll, at least according to the Instagram posts I've seen.
I don't like that move for him and for the team. Browns by 100 this week. Browns by 100.
He's not losing any sleep over DTR. Apparently, he and Berryhorse are in the same camp where they've already chalked this one up as a win.
There is obviously a rational explanation for this. That is luck, though. Correct? You cannot play 9 straight games where you're getting outgained, and like this. The Steelers did this a few years ago. It was a Roethlisberger team that got off to like an amazing start, and everyone knew they were shit, and they got smoked in the playoffs by Baker Mayfield. I think that
sure
smoked.
I wouldn't back this Steelers team in the playoffs with my worst enemy's money.
Dude,
I just want them to win. I just want them to win the North and Tomlin win Coach of the Year.
Dude, if after that, they get the Dolphins in the playoffs, I will. The amount I will bet on the Dolphins, depending on the spread, obviously, but the Dolphins are going to smoke them.
Let's talk this through a little bit while we work out whether this was catch or not. It looked fine to me. I have no idea. I'm not paying attention though. I've kind of checked out of this game. I'm assuming my money line is dead. But the Oh, they're going for it on 4th down, 4th and 3. Zach Taylor, he knows his back's against the wall. Oh boy. The Steelers as a 5, 6, or 7 seed against the Dolphins in Miami in the wild card round are probably going to be 8-point dogs.
Yep.
You're going to lay 8?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, well, you know what? By that time, Miami's going to be even better because they're going to actually have a defense.
That's why I'm saying 8. It wouldn't be 8 today, I don't think. But I'm assuming by that point it'll be 8.
Kenny Pickett to match scores with that offense? Oh, man. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Any better? Do you have any better? Oh, they were just doing this stupid try to get them offsides
There's
thing.
a hard count. Like this ever works in.
Yeah. You know who's been practicing his hard count? Jake Browning, apparently. Didn't work.
Of course. You know what, though?
Is that his name? Jake Browning? That's this guy's
Jake
name?
Browning. Aaron Rodgers still gets it sometimes. He's the only one, though. I don't know how he does it. Because you got to imagine when you prep for Aaron Rodgers, it's like it's part of the manual for the week, right? But yeah, I don't know.
How about if the Steelers win the AFC North and the Dolphins fumble the bag in the AFC East and it's 4-5 in Pittsburgh? What's that number? Pittsburgh plus 3.5? Plus 3?
I can't tell you. It's got to be more. Honestly, it's got to be more. 3.5 is not enough. 4. And even then, I want my.
You're laying 4. You're laying 4 with Tua on the road in Pittsburgh. Voodoo be damned. Voodoo be damned.
Honestly, it will be the biggest voodoo game ever, right? Like Tua will survive a whole season and then he'll get hurt in that game.
Oh, can't believe this shit, man.
God, man. The NFL is too much.
The NFL is really testing our willingness to watch. This is rough. Third best quarterback in the league is now officially kaput. And the second best quarterback in the league, his head coach just fired his offensive coordinator and may run a very conservative offense to try to keep his defense off the field.
Yeah,
which is going to suck.
Just be happy, Drew. You did not commit to doing live watch-alongs of every Island game this season.
There was a lot of anticipation and buzz about this one. I feel like people were super duper into this.
Moretto is my guy. He's like director of content, my right-hand man. But he's consistently mails it in with booking the guests for this stuff. But tonight, I don't know what got in. He hit like the Philadelphia Flyers as a big underdog last night, plus 225. He was feeling himself today. He said, you know what? Fuck it. One time,
you know what?
I'll go
when
above and beyond.
He was like, look, I'll do you a favor. Like, you know, like he said, I don't give out many favors, but if you'll come on in the second quarter, like, you know, like you have a solid in the books at you know, to be called upon. And I was like, you got it. You know, like I could use a favor. You never know.
Right.
But no, you guys nailed it. This is going to be fun. I
like doing these, Drew. I'm going to watch the games anyways. Like, honestly, I'm going to watch it doesn't matter how shit the game is. I cannot pull myself away. The only thing is sometimes I have to, like, next week, Tool is playing in Toronto 2 nights. I can't go to the Monday show because it's Eagles Chiefs.
Tool
on the Tuesday show, but I would have liked to go to the Monday show. Get the.
Did you bet Eagles Chiefs?
I bet the Chiefs. Yeah,
you bet the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm there too.
Got slammed right back in my face.
What'd you bet? 3?
2.5.
What is it now?
Oh, it's back down. I got
2.5 minus 115. Yeah.
I got barely and no CLV on that. I still like it.
Let me run a take by you. I ran this by Andy yesterday, and he gave me a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. That's a very good score for BetPod ratings. 6.5 would be great.
BetPod ratings has tuned me out, so yeah, it's just not impressed. Not impressed.
I mean, they don't like. Not a fan of G Stack George. Poor G Stack can't get any listens, and but he still listens to Circles Off every week. So got to give him that.
Yeah. Well, BetPod Rating and I were in agreement, by the way, that the interview you did with the Antonino, that was very, very, very good. That was a must listen. I'm sure everybody who's watching this has heard it, but that was quite good.
What was the rating that he gave? He didn't give that like a good rate. It was like an 8. I can't get better than that.
I don't think. Does he have anything better than an 8 on record?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what can? There's been a lot of good interviews, Anthony, that I've done. Like for me, and you know this about doing content as well. Maybe you don't, but for me, when we're done recording, I have a general idea of like, this was good, this wasn't that good, this was excellent. I finished that interview, and honestly, Zach, who is our producer for Circles Off, I said to him, I think that was maybe the best episode. It was just really a great conversation. It didn't ever feel like I was, and I can't do if that's going to be an 8, Drew. I can't do better than that, man. I'm never gonna top that.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Like that, you hit the holy grail of getting a guy with insight from behind the counter to talk about it. Like that was, and then that was incredible. Review. Yeah.
RP absurdly arrogant when discussing how to run a sports book.
Did you even say anything about that?
I don't. Here's the thing. Okay.
I don't even remember you saying it.
Rob Pizzola's had a little bit too much in the beer category tonight so far. I shouldn't even say this stuff. Okay. I ran a portfolio of sports books that generated $1 billion in NGR.
Now this is absurdly arrogant.
$1 billion with a B in NGR on an annual basis. I have a general idea of how to run a sports book.
I believe you.
I might have just a little bit of an idea. People always at me, like Rob says he consulted for books or whatever. It gives context to like, people. We more than half of our viewers on a weekly basis are seeing a show for the first time.
I'm sure you have a unique perspective because you were in a time where it was like starting to really build in the Western U.S. after a lull post Bush nuking all of the offshores, right? Like there was that was an interesting time. Like there was some interesting things going on for sure. But no, that was I get everything you're saying, and I think that's ridiculous. And it's obviously someone with a weird personal vendetta. And here's a challenge: if BetPod Ratings is listening or watching this, like do it fucking better, you piece of shit. Like, honestly, like if there's a way that it should be done, fucking do it. I want to hear good stuff. I want to hear people do an interview like Rob did with Antonino. Like that was amazing. And if it's very, very easy to tell anyone who's doing their job in broadcasting that they should do it better. And it's very, very hard on the other side of the fucking screen. I will tell you that much. So here's my take that I want your rating on. I think we're in a time where the imbalance between conferences is kind of reminiscent of like early 90s, right? Like we're kind of back in that sort of disparity. And I look at the other contenders in the NFC besides the Eagles, and they're flawed. They you have this weird dichotomy where Shanahan has the most amazing offensive scheme ever put on paper, but he's also not aggressive and has to do it with Brock Purdy. And you have the Cowboys, who somehow have all of the talent in the universe, but got stuck with Mike McCarthy, which I think lends the Eagles to just, if they play 4-down football on offense through the playoffs, probably going back to the Super Bowl. Like, kind of doesn't matter what their path is. If they have that extra down, then, I'm not sure who's beating them. Yep. That said, I think they're drawing dead against whoever comes out of the AFC, not just this year, but for future years. I think we might be reliving the Bills' 4 straight Super Bowl loss era with the Eagles, where they come out of the NFC every year and get popped by the better team out of the AFC.
I saw this flag, dude. Zay Flowers was never catching this ball.
No,
he was never catching this ball.
No, it seemed like good defense to me, but what do I know? I can't even imagine how in any way, shape, or form he prevented him from catching it. That was your makeup call, I guess, for the touchdown. They ended up scoring anyway. I don't know.
I
ridiculous.
guess.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Eagles 4 straight Super Bowl losses. What's your rating on that take?
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Like they're this close, but they're not there. And there was years, Drew, where it was like every year before the season, I would just look at the Patriots Super Bowl price and be like, yeah, you know what? I should bet this.
Sure.
And I never did. And they just win the Super. They're always in the Super Bowl. And that's kind of how I just feel about the Chiefs now every year. As long as Mahomes is there, wait for a loss, see if you could time the market, get the best price possible on them, and just bet it. Because I just feel like they're going to be there. They're, I do not want to bet against that guy. He is superhuman. I know there's some people out there that think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback because he has some better peripheral statistics this year. But he's superhuman.
So
and
maybe
I don't know that the Eagles can get this will be a good measuring stick game. Let's say that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm counting on the good plays. I'm counting on the Eagles running into a good pass defense. The last time these two teams played, you got a 95th percentile performance out of Philadelphia. They made like 2 or 3 mistakes in the entire game, and they still lost. So, yeah, I think realistically, this is Chiefs or pass. And again, like anytime you can bet on Mahomes under a field goal at home, and plus Andy Reid with time to the Andy Reid off the bye, there are 4 or 5 years in the last 6 that I can point to and be like, well, that was ridiculous narrative bullshit. This year, they needed the bye to do a little bit of self-reflection and kind of figure out exactly, who is the right, how to distribute their targets correctly. So they should have some positive bounce here from the bye. So if you want to point to his ability to evaluate his, is that second Nelson Aguilar touchdown? Jesus. No, that was Bateman. What was your boy?
We got
this game's over and it's a bummer.
Kind of ruined I will. There's part of me, Drew, that at the half wants to bet Bengals money line, but it does feel like I'm just pissing money away.
Oh, you mean to come back and win with Browning?
Yeah. It's part of me that has like this real sickness to me. I'm sick like that, man. I need you to talk me out of it before you leave. Here's the thing, Drew. If I'm just gonna let's take a step back, right?
Sure.
Let's go back to last year.
Sure.
NFL playoffs. You're on with me in the second quarter of Jags and Chargers.
Yeah.
You bet the Jags. It's a horrible quarter for them.
Yeah.
You leave and your team comes all the way back to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could we not replicate that scenario this year?
I mean, if Brandon Staley was on the other sidelines, sure. I don't know. I shouldn't even say that because if there's a masters of blowing a lead, it's the Ravens. So why not? I don't know, man. I mean, Browning, the Zach Taylor doing the nonsense, trying to bait an offsides call. That was kind of the tipping point for me where he was like, we're going to try this, which has 0 chance. And, ultimately, we're just going to give them the ball back with another opportunity to score and go even deeper into deficit with our backup quarterback. Okay. That was a bad sign. And Zach Taylor, I feel less excited about going to war with than Doug Peterson. And for whatever it's worth, John Harbaugh, I feel less excited about going to war against than Brandon Staley. I feel like the coaching, that was a 1 in a million coaching mismatch that helped that happen, I think. I don't know, man.
Yep. I mean,
I wouldn't do it. Coaching is the key question. I don't know. Is Zach Taylor a good coach? Where do you rank him?
I think that for a long time we just thought he was bad. And now so we talked about this right when you got on air, but the fact that we don't talk about him is a good thing. We never talk about Zach Taylor. And that usually means he's not making any catastrophic mistakes or doing anything stupid. So generally speaking, I think he's probably underrated. Like that's my view. I didn't like him for a long time, but the fact that if you're a good coach, typically speaking, you're not a talking point ever. And Zac Taylor hasn't been a talking point for a long time. That's my 2 cents on it. It's my 2 cents.
Okay. All right. Well, it's halftime.
It is halftime.
I'll bid you adieu.
All right, Drew.
Send my best to both Dr. Eager and Berryhorse.
We're hoping for Berryhorse second half bet so we can sweat it in the fourth with him. That would be huge. All right, Drew. Say hi to Andy.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Rob.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Drew. I see Fez in the chat. Fez, just want to let you know, KC minus 2.5, minus 110. I agree. And it's A-OK up to minus 118.5. That's my cutoff point, people. Minus 2.5, minus 118.5 is my cutoff. Anything past that, you're going to let it be. Good price there, though, Fez. Good price. Bengals defense blows. Sure does. Sure does. Not anything new. Yeah, like this is, Zac Taylor's average, of course. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like he's, for a long time, it was like, Zac Taylor's a dipshit. He doesn't know what he's doing. Whatever. Correct, Everett Jones. Minus 118.5. I did not misspeak. This isn't a joke. This is literally the cutoff price that I would play Kansas City. So if you have one sports book that's like minus 119 and one is minus 118, you can average minus 118.5. That's what I'm getting at. Me and Fez on the same side. Fez, take home that circa millions, man. Show these punks in Seaville what you're all about. I'm dead serious. And on the side, actually message me at some point this week. I want a piece of your entry. We'll negotiate a fair price. But I want to be holding that check with you at the end of the year. As long as part of my negotiation is that I can hold that check with you at the end of the year. Yeah. Can I talk about Chargers Green Bay for a second? Yes. I know people who are on complete opposite sides of this game. I don't have a strong opinion. We're going to have to see the practice reports as they go forward a little bit more. Keenan Allen practiced today with the shoulder injury. Don't know about Jair Alexander just yet. Suma made a good case for the Chargers on Wednesday forward progress. I just don't want to buy the Chargers at -3 personally. If this were to get pushed out to 3.5, which is very possible, I would consider Green Bay. I just honestly, it's not on the radar for me this week right now. It's not on the radar for me this week right now. Zach, let's pull up the stats, the My Pick section of BetStamp. Review the first half here. There's already been some wins. There's already been some losses. I need to really quickly see what we're still cheering for here. OBJ under receptions. Thanks for coming out. First TD, Irv Smith, dead. Rashad Bateman should have just played the fucking anytime TV on Rashad Bateman. Got a little too greedy, boys. A little too greedy. At least we cashed the full Nelson Aguilar full unit play. Nelson Aguilar over 7.5. You're gonna do Nelson Aguilar dirty like that? You're gonna disrespect Nelson Aguilar with a 7.5 receiving yard total? Later, Canby Books. Thanks for coming out. Gus Edwards, you're gonna disrespect Gus Edwards? Say he can't catch one ball in a game? One ball. He's got 2. We'll forget about the other stuff, Zach. Get that rest off the screen. It all lost. We lost the rest of the stuff. I don't want to talk about that. Let's just pretend the rest didn't exist. That's how we do it here. I don't even know how to react, Fez. I don't know how to react, Fez. Listen, I'm dead serious. I hope you win the circa millions, but I also want to make sure that I get a piece. Let's negotiate something on the side. Find out what the EV is of your entry. I want a piece, but we need the stipulation that I get to hold the check with you if you win. That's all I asked for. I want to be part of the winning process. I want Seaville to hate me as much as they hate you, which they might already, but I want it. I want it to happen. Dare we bet Baltimore second half, the team that sucks with the lead always? Let's take a quick look at the second half line, and we'll talk it over with Eric Eeager here as he joins us. Eric Eeager, one of Steve Fezzik's favorite content creators in the space.
I poked the big bear that is Steve Fezzik this week with just following producers' orders to have a limit on the play. Yeah, man, good for him though. He got his rocks off there. Interesting first half. I did notice, Rob, that your voice like changed octaves when Mark Andrews was tackled awkwardly at the 1 yard.
No. We're not getting into this now. I was immediately concerned for Mark Andrews' health. Also, I did bet him to score a touchdown in the game, anytime TD as well. So that offset the win on the under yardage. So we didn't get a true reaction from me. But I will maintain that I am a decent human being. Decent human being. Berryhorse, second half play. Let's go. Baltimore, -2.5, -115 from Sir Horse. He will have a rooting interest here in the fourth quarter. I kind of wanted to bet the Bengals money line like a jackass. The Jake Brown. I wanted the Jake Brown.
2.5 is the spread, second half?
Yeah. It won't be 2.5 now. It's going to be 3.
No, Mr. Horse, the fourth quarter maven here is gonna he's gonna steam that thing out.
Oh, that's going to be steamed into oblivion. This will be a bigger steamer than Lamar Jackson running to the locker room a couple years ago against the Browns.
Did you notice that when Ravens players are injured, they have to like walk up the stairs? What kind of candy ass shit is that?
Honestly, what stadium design? I don't get some of this stuff, man.
They have a very nice like practice facility. It's kind of like tucked away and stuff. Like it is like a very nice, like they're a good organization, but the injury thing for the Ravens make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why. Also, can we talk about the Bengals being like deeply unserious at backup quarterback?
We could talk, Eric, about whatever you wanted. I'm here just to talk football. I had a few pints over the course of the show. The pen is out tonight. I'm feeling good. I was hoping Burrow wouldn't get injured, so we would have a better game here. By the way, I actually agree with Florio. Can you believe this? I don't even want to go down this path, but they have to disclose that this guy has an injured wrist. Like, why are they not doing this? The amount of people that are going to go out tonight and they're going to tweet their sports book and they're going to tweet the NFL and be like, guys, what is this bullshit? Like, what is this? It's a disaster. It's a disaster for the league. They have to disclose it, man.
The NFL wins but doesn't cover basically every single day of the year, right? Because it's still growing. You know, the value of even like teams like Washington continues to skyrocket, and yet they just don't meet expectations, right? Like very simple stuff, like injury reports, things like that, like having it not be this dumb. I mean, even like the Bijan Robinson thing wasn't quite as bad, but it was still like, it's not that hard just to throw like Patrick Mahomes has the flu into like the news thing to not, like there are people. What was the stat was like what a gambler / fantasy player watches 4 times as much NFL as somebody who doesn't. It's like, don't tell that to the girl who roasted me on Twitter last year. That was like, oh, you're insane or whatever. That we people only bettors and fantasy players. Anyways, again, yeah, like this is all like playing into like the league's popularity, I just it's interesting to me that they continue to step on their own junk like all the time with simple stuff that shouldn't be that hard. I think obviously the league should embrace betting because it's going to drive a lot of engagement for the league. It makes total sense. But you cannot have people betting on shit that they think is rigged or that they didn't have access to information. Like as a bettor, it's good when we don't have perfect information. Because in some cases, the people who work really hard to get that information might have an edge. Burrow's walking out right now on my screen. Yeah, that's a far cry from when Carissa Thompson reported amputation.
I'm on here. Holy shit, the engagement on this, man.
Well,
Wow.
I love Fooly Cooley who said these are not landing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let democracy decide. But yes, it was. I had a few that didn't land. Like I had something like I was gonna say something like, Zach Taylor said we got a stunt on them hoes in the second half per Carissa Thompson. Like she should have had fun if she was gonna do it this way, right? She should have made up the craziest shit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You gotta play into it.
Yeah. Oh God, the 10 out of 10 tweet, banger tweet. People are very happy. That's a great tweet. Honestly, it's right up there. It's right up there. I'm trying to think of my greatest tweets of all time. I had a really, really viral tweet about the Vancouver Canucks years ago that blew up because I don't remember exactly what it was. That one was a big one though. That one was a big one. Since then, I don't really know.
I had one where you remember when Michael Lombardi was 90, he did some 99% of NFL teams know that Mac Jones is being drafted third by the Niners. And then I just did 31 out of 32 is not there's no there's no NFL team action that gets you to that number. Just that's just a dorky ass thing to do. But also Mike Lombardi, my favorite thing is always the confident and the just smugness. And again, glass house, but there's so much smugness and so little, he doesn't even have an edge as far as information in the NFL. What was the story about him not knowing who his son was going to draft in the first round of the draft is how I don't even, I'm not going to drag the guy any further, but I feel that was also a tweet that got tens of thousands of retweets and stuff from me.
Yes. Whatever. Listen, there's a human element to everything. I don't know Mike Lombardi as a person. I'm sure he's a good guy, whatever. I cannot stand Mike Lombardi's analysis, especially when it comes to the over the top. This team shouldn't have gone for it on fourth down stuff, but the complete silence when the Lions last week, for example, are converting on every fourth down, going in situations that they actually shouldn't have winning the game. And anyways, we don't have to make this a Mike Lombardi ranting session. But yeah, I'm not a fan whatsoever. Also, maybe have some success in the league. How about that?
Well, my thing is don't draft more. You got one shot at the plate, right? You were Bill Belichick's lackey for all those years, and you got one shot at the plate, and you took Barcadius Mingo at 4th overall. I'm supposed to you walk around the universe that didn't happen, and it's we all saw it. It's you're you're in the Garden of Eden with your draft picks here. We all see you. This is and so I don't get, and I get that he's won, and he's he's a classic Belichick guy where he's been remarkably unsuccessful wherever else he's gone. But that's still most you look at Scott Pioli on NFL Network, he's not a dick, right? It's you're capable of not being a dick.
Fez is right. Lombardi find someone who loves you in your life as much as Mike Lombardi loves taking the points. And by the way, when people say taking the points, oh, they got to take the points here. It ain't a free 3 points. They don't just put the 3 points on the board. The kicker's got to come out and kick it through the uprights. These guys act like it's a guaranteed 3 on all these situations.
I don't think Burrow's going back in though. Do you see him? He's kind of wearing a hat and he's got
and a headset.
It's the head. Yeah, he's wearing the same thing you got on with your earphones there. It's the Jake Browning show.
It is the Jake Browning show. I did talk about this with Whale Capper. Quarterbacks coming in mid-game. Sometimes it gets a little spicy. I don't know, though. Jake Browning, undrafted, 27-year-old, basically. I don't know about that.
Jake Browning just reminds me of back when I was betting Pac-12, just seeing low totals in the Apple Cup and just praying that thing would go over, and him just being such a privilege that it would land 46 or something dumb like that. He wasn't even a good college quarterback. This is what I don't understand.
Right.
Like Sean Clifford was a terrible college quarterback, and now he's backing up Jordan Love in the NFL. It's like, how do these guys fail up like that?
True. All right, second half starting now. I'll do a quick countdown of the play clock on the second play afterwards here so that we can see it.
My Jermaine Pratt over, not looking the best right now, Rob.
Well,
I think the second half you're going to see a lot of running by Lamar, and by by the Ravens. So maybe it ends up being a moot point, but yeah, it's not looking the greatest.
Oh, it can happen. Play clock is 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, and the play is off. Are you ahead or behind?
Which play was it the mix and run? Well, there's been 2 mix and runs.
Yeah, I got the 8-yard run from Mixon.
Yep. I'm with you then. I'm right. I think I'm a little ahead actually. Wow. So I won't ruin it for people.
Well, it's the prime. It's the prime stream. We've established this. The Canadian Thursday night football stream ain't as good as the American one. What is this Ravens rush defense going on? This happened to them last week too. I mean, it's only 2 plays here. Let's call it for what it is. But
yeah, they're just going to ride Mixon. But Mixon was terrible in the first half of the year. Now he's kind of looking spry.
You know what? I don't know how this stuff happens. I need someone to explain this stuff. I watched Joe Mixon in person last year. The dude had the mobility of Stephen Hawking, basically, when I was watching him. He looked like he was done. I'm like, this guy's career is over.
Is Stephen Hawking the free space of that dig? Because you could say he had the verbal skills of Stephen Hawking.
I apologize if someone got offended by that. It was the first name that came to mind. It's someone has the vision of Stevie Wonder would be like a nut that. It's just the thing that comes to mind for me. Anyways, regardless of that, whatever he's done in the offseason here, he's got some juice again. And it's whatever happened to Tony Pollard.
Well, the same thing happened to Josh Jacobs, right? Jacobs was terrible in the first half of the year, and now he's actually moving the piles forward a little bit, So it's weird. Maybe some of these guys are these veteran running backs kind of have a clue. I don't know. So speaking of having a clue, Jake Browning.
Did he not have a clue? He had a clue.
Not so bad, actually.
5-yard scramble. There we go.
Yeah.
I was watching Sunday Night Football last week in the second half, Raiders and Jets, and Collinsworth brought up something that was really interesting to me, which I kind of laughed when I heard it, but then I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something to this. And the new Raiders coaching staff, Antonio Pierce and company, have been going to Josh Jacobs with – that's all right. The dogs bark all the time. It's okay.
It's unbelievable.
Yes. They've been going to Josh Jacobs saying, here's the personnel we want to run, and here are the running plays. Which ones do you want us to call? Over the course, they've actually been giving him input into the running plays. And I'm I don't know if that works or it's just a really small sample size, but the guy was picking up 2 yards a carry, and all of a sudden that's changed.
I think that certainly works in the situation that the Raiders are in, right? Where you're Antonio Pierce and you really don't I'm not trying to ding the guy, but you're closer to Jeff Saturday than you are to Ben Johnson, right? So you don't have a ton in the way of scheme. And so maybe, the players who have been playing in that scheme longer than you've been coaching it, especially on the offensive side, I don't think it's sustainable long-term, but I do think that might be a reason why you do see some dead cat bumps at the very beginning of these things, because there are the players probably do have good intuition about what the closest successful thing can be. It's probably not optimal, but it's optimal relative to what the coach that just got fired is doing.
Now we're seeing what a undrafted quarterback looks like here on the road trying to.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're seeing some bad. Yeah. But fairness, also Zach Taylor has been terrible tonight.
But also in my opinion, this should be called dead right away at 0 seconds. But a lot of times they get the benefit of the doubt and they get a half second here. I don't know that he necessarily did on this play. I'm not sure. How do the referees not have like just an earpiece with like a buzzer when the play clock expires or something, rather than having to check the look at the clock, then look back to the ball when it's snapped? Like, how does this not happen?
Yeah. Dude, Jake Browning took an absolute crusher there of a hit. Yeah, the NFL, like I said, they win but don't. It's like exactly what I'm saying. Like, they don't try to cover the spread. They just try to keep like moving forward every game.
Yeah. Now, this was definitely a penalty. Was it Rock Yassin there in coverage on Irwin?
Yeah, former
Colt.
Yeah.
Colt up. Yeah. I mean, I'm just the guy here that didn't have the stones to bet Cincinnati money line. I just didn't have it. It's not like it's like remote. It's just it's obviously a better bet now than it was at the half.
Yeah. I would be interested to see if they punched it in, but they have not like looked terrible moving the ball with Browning. They moved it to my midfield, and then Zach Taylor kind of bitched out of going for it, and then the Ravens drove the length of the field. And then now they look like, I mean, honestly, with Chase out there, like you could just throw the ball up and hope for interference penalties like you had there.
I mean, they've called, with the exception of I don't know who the downfield shot was to it earlier on this drive that went incomplete. It was to Jackson. The fuck is who is Jackson? Shed Jackson. All right. I'm unfamiliar with Shed Jackson. But anyways, they took a downfield shot to him. Maybe there wasn't called a DPI because it was Shed Jackson that was downfield, but that looked like a very obvious DPI to me. Very obvious.
Yeah. I mean, what's your opinion on the underthrow? Because I know we saw that one in Buffalo the other night. People are like, well, you shouldn't reward a quarterback for underthrowing a receiver. It's like, yeah, but you also shouldn't like reward a DB for getting beat by 5, getting beat so bad you can't turn your head and you run over the wide receiver. Like that's also the other side of it, right?
Honestly, it has to be called, because then we're going to get into like really subjective territory afterwards, where it's like, oh, it's not DPI if it's underthrown. Good luck trying to judge that. Like, I'm fine with it. I mean, all the calls are really subjective in the first place anyways, but you're now going to add like another element to this. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Not a great pick play by 87, but
Irwin's got to like hands catch that.
Yeah. You let it get to his body.
Yeah. Higgins like would have caught that ball full arms extended away from his body and give the DB no chance. Like you can't do that.
Yep.
Do that. Sad field goal incoming.
Yep.
Well, got to make it a 1-score game.
You got it. Yeah. You really have to there. Really standing tall. Courage is what it requires today.
Oh man. Primetime under looks in trouble. Probably will still get there somehow. Probably will still get there.
If we see like 7 straight runs from Gus Edwards and then they just trust their defense, that seems like the Ravens. Like this is a classic game the Ravens mess around and lose though, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We saw it with Minshew, we saw it with Pickett, we saw it with last week to Deshaun. How much by the way, this is a good question. How much did your ratings of the Browns like, so I made Deshaun 1.8 right now. Okay. Not over DTR, but over like an average, kind of like an average backup, which is slightly better than replacement player, which it seems like the market moved 2. It was a different 2 because it went through 3. But it like what kind of adjustment do you make now? Because Deshaun hasn't played well for like 3 years, but he's still better than DTR.
Yeah, I'm going to have Berryhorse on in the fourth quarter, and I know he hates DTR, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. I went from the Browns being, okay, again, matchups are very important in my handicapping, but I had Cleveland as plus 1.5 relative to league average, and I have them now like minus, let me just do a quick plug in with a comparable to make sure that this makes sense. I have them at like a minus 1.3, 3-point difference. I don't know. Deshaun Watson hasn't been good. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He just hasn't been good. Like in my head, it feels like, okay, yeah, it should be more, but I'm thinking of Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans, not this one that, can't throw the ball. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on this right now. College DTR was a priv. I didn't watch DTR in college. I can't tell you.
I'm well, you know that Chip Kelly owns like 5% of PFF, right? So we were, I was always like kind of a UCLA fan, and DTR was at UCLA like during my first year full time at PFF and didn't leave until just now, right? Like this year. So he was there for a long freaking time, and he never got that good. He was always kind of like older than every other player at the end, and he was pretty athletic and kind of fit. Like it was weird how good he was in the preseason, because it was another example of a guy who wasn't all that great in college being decent at decent enough to get an NFL job.
There are at least 26 people that are watching right now that have not liked the chat yet, including you, Fez. I know you're still out there, and I know you haven't clicked that like button. Make sure you smash or hammer that like button down below. If you're not subbed here on Forward Progress, please do so. And of course, I can't recommend enough betting with Pinnacle Sportsbook. If you're in Canada, especially if you're in Ontario, everyday competitive odds, really good live odds, great product altogether. Check them out. Use code HAMMER if you are going to sign up to Pinnacle, as it does help support us here on Forward Progress. Let's get it to 200. Christopher Moltisanti.
We can't get a like from Fez? I haven't even given out a range of prices yet. Does Fez, over under Fez 0.5 likes, good to minus 140, I would say. He'll eventually cave, I think.
I will be very disappointed if Fez didn't like this stream. I'd be very disappointed. He did call my reputation impeccable at Bet Bash. Just got to hit that like button.
Was that because you kind of came? I mean, you were like Mahomes in the second half of the Super Bowl at Bet Bash, though. He just didn't want to get in front of that train, I don't think. He got out of the way quick.
I don't know. Listen, like I don't know. I don't know Steve. We interviewed him for Circles Off. It was maybe a little bit contentious with him and Johnny. I was kind of like a neutral party, just observing what was going on there. I think he's a super smart guy. Like I don't know. It was just like a weird panel altogether, right? Like it was just the weirdest thing that I was a part of.
Fezzik goes, LOL, Eric hates me. I've been on shows with Steve before. I've never said a mean thing about him on Twitter, and he just drive-bys yesterday. Like what the hell? Like I don't dislike him. I thought that tweet was stupid.
But drive-by right there, man.
What's that?
You got lit up on that from those tweets yesterday.
Yeah.
The old subtweet special.
Special. Unbelievable stuff. It's okay.
I can't say I've never done the subtweet before. Can't say I've never been there before.
Yeah, I didn't at Carissa Thompson on that tweet. So no. I'm just as bad as anybody.
It's true. I had a nice watching tape tweet crafted today that I deleted as well, which could have went out. Dude, I'm just going to share this. Someone sent me a video today of Simon Hunter breaking down Josh Dobbs' game tape. It is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. The dude, I don't know what this guy, like he picked the worst plays to exemplify as Josh Dobbs' success. Like the first play where he was praising him was a play where literally there was just pressure around him and he couldn't even keep his eyes downfield anymore. He's just like basically looking down at his shoes, ready to take a sack, and no one got to him. And then he got out of it. Anyways, we move on.
It was crazy how much Kevin O'Connell was just like elated by the fact that he had a quarterback that could turn a crappy play call into like a positive play for the first time in his career. It was. Now the question becomes like Sunday night, those are two teams, Denver and Minnesota, that if they weren't playing each other would be easy fades because of like the the noisiness of their wins and everything. I tend to believe that the Broncos have more sustainable winning. And I think like that, I think that the Broncos are more sustainable, from that standpoint than the Vikings are, just because it's like the Vikings defense is kind of blitz happy, does well against bad quarterbacks. It's just going to be hard for them to sustain, I think.
I just think that I'm very, very high on Kevin O'Connell. Like, I like him a lot, where it's not to say say anything bad about Gannon, but I'm just a big believer in O'Connell. I agree with you, especially now that Denver's been able to turn it around on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, it's interesting altogether. I'm definitely jealous that I'm not part of the syndicate. Definitely jealous.
It just feels like, imagine having like 10 times as many trading cards in your man cave, right? Like you look back at your stuff there. You're obviously like very well cultured. You play board games. You seem like a great time. But imagine if next to it, Rob, you had one of those things that had your trading cards in it and like laminated, and it was all like your favorite players and stuff. And you could turn around when people talk shit to you in this chat and be like, bitches, I won these by betting. That's what you're missing out on by not being part of the syndicate.
I had a guy who owed me a couple thousand today, and I went to pick it up, and he's like, Rob, I got something better for you. And he handed me this Pokemon Gotta Catch 'Em All trading card game starter pack. I said, dude, I'm in, man. Forget our $2,000 debt. This has like a holographic Machamp or something in here. I'm good, man. Let's just call it even.
We at the very end at PFF, Chris's son Austin, who's the CO, wanted us to make NFTs for like PFF Hall of Famers, and so we made NFTs for like Brady, Joe Thomas, and I'm not saying that's why I was like, hey, it's been fun, but it wasn't like not a reason.
We have to do, but by the way, I've met Chad. I don't dislike Chad, but I do find this extremely offensive regardless. Now I know how Moretto feels when Kanish calls him the Darren Ravel of the Hammer. When Kanish says that. Who is the Hammer's Simon Hunter? I don't know. Maybe like who's the, I don't want to offend anyone, but probably like Jeff Feinberg. Maybe he's the closest.
No, Jeff is no. And I made my feelings about Jeff very clear. I think Jeff is one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like Jeff is so much more endearing than
I think Simon's hilarious. It's unintentionally hilarious, but I laugh harder at some of that stuff than anything.
True.
I don't want to do Jeff dirty. Like, I'm sorry, Jeff. I actually love when you come on in the second quarter. I don't think we have a Simon Hunter. I honestly don't. A pathological liar who says he works for NFL.
Well, we do have people, like, you got to pull up your basketball promo video with Pinnacle. We do have people that wear Simon Hunter's shirt.
That was me. Definitely wearing a Simon Hunter shirt. But if we want to draw actual comparables, you've helped teams with the NFL draft. Simon has helped teams with the NFL draft. Would you not be the closest comp?
I think if let's just put it this way. If Simon's telling the truth, he's a cross between you and me, right? A professional bettor who is part of a real actual money-making syndicate and an actual consultant for NFL teams. If he was telling the truth, he'd be like the combination of Rob Pizzola and Eric Eager. And I mean, that's a Hall of Fame tier person, isn't it?
100%. Here's the thing. This is totally true. Jeff owns that he's a rec bettor and he's honest, and that is why he can't be compared to it. I don't know where the G-Stack comparisons are coming in, but G-Stack is absolutely the Simon Hunter of Hammer. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one for G-Stack to swallow when he sees that one. That will be a tough one. Action Network, I'm just going to say my piece. I actually like a lot of people from the Action Network. I don't want to make this about a brand or anything else. Brian Mead, who put together that app in the first place is a brilliant guy. I talked to him years ago. Great dude. Sean Corner, the odds maker, analytical background, great dude. Like, I don't have a problem with everyone there. My issue, as always been my issue with the space, is people who misrepresent themselves. I think it's very dangerous. And Simon is numero uno. Misrepresentation.
And it's my issue is like it's unforced at this point too. Like, you have a podcast that a lot of people freaking listen to. Isn't that enough? If you're him.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's it, man. That's it. It should be enough, but whatever. Thoughts on Stuckey? I don't associate with Stuckey at all, because back in the day, he's he's big time Ravens homer. It's pretty clear. And I had like some Twitter spats with him back in the day about him being a Ravens homer. He either muted me or blocked me. I did message him several years ago saying, like, listen, back in the day, I was a little bit harsh. Don't take it personally. He never messaged me back. Whatever. It is what it is. I just don't consume anything that he does, honestly.
But the other part is like I think what the fun part is about the hammer is, and this is obviously a testament to you, is like there's just so much even just on our network that what other than for shits and giggles, like you don't even have time to consume all that much more content, right? Like we have something every single day. We have, every sport. It's immense, right? And so like even like I find it difficult even like I was on Kevin Clark's podcast for tomorrow, and like I've never once listened to his new show. Like never, like for what? Like what time do I have? Like I
totally get it. I totally get it. Wow, you're getting an RJ Bell comparison right now. This Marco D'Angelo character, I don't think that's how Marco D'Angelo spells his real name. So we got another burner in the chat, I believe. Am I correct about that? Or does he actually spell his name like that? I think we got another burner. I think we may have found an infiltrator under an alias. At least I may have. It's a little bit interesting of a burner there. Eric froze. Look, we got two of them on screen now. Look at this. It's amazing. Eric, can you see your former self? Your frozen
self? I can't see my former self. It looks like just a black square, but my work computer was like, hey, you got to restart. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm chopping it up right now.
Yeah. It's overheated, man. Got a little bit overheated from all that Action Network talk.
Yeah. I mean, there was steam coming out of not their bets, but my computer.
Mm-hmm. There was. Man, like, could we not have just gotten Burrow and Lamar for a full game?
No.
Like, why does this have to happen? Why? There's only so few good quarterbacks in the league. We're finally going to get the matchup we want to see, and we get this shit. Jake Browning special.
It's honestly unbelievable. It's to your point. It's a Jake Browning special. Now we just need to root for Mr. Horse's pick, in the second half of the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Sir Horse.
Horse.
I need to get his thoughts on DTR because I like the Browns this week. I think he's going to tell me he ain't liking it.
I mean, is Cleveland's defense is really good. Like they're gonna win a fair share of the crappy games. They don't even have that hard of a schedule going forward either. Oh, Chase just snagged one.
Oh, I'm still watching Ray Lewis on his phone right now, currently.
By the way, the only other tweet that I had that even comes close to those numbers today was when in 2018, when Ray Lewis was doing his Hall of Fame speech, I tweeted, and now it's been deleted because trying to be PC and stuff. But I said, in 10 years, people are gonna act like Ray Lewis didn't kill that speech.
Oh, that's a good one. I love the Ray Lewis murder jokes. We can laugh about it now. It's 20 years after. It's all in good fun.
If the murder is an adult, you can talk.
Yeah, there's a
18 or older.
there's a point where you can now it goes from being serious to actually being something that can be talked about. What was the Sacha Baron Cohen? I used to watch a lot of Ali G when I was younger. I thought it was amazing. It was like the best comedy when I was younger. But recently he did like a couple years ago was like This Is America or whatever. I think that's what it was called, where he played a lot of different characters. The interview that he did with O.J. Simpson, where he played the Italian guy and kept trying to get him to like, kept joking about the murders, like the murder and stuff like that, is actually one of the funniest like 4 or 5 minute clips ever. It is too good. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it to program that at some point or another, just to watch Sacha Baron Cohen as a fake Italian guy interviewing O.J. Simpson.
Dude, it's OJ being like, if you watch old games, OJ just randomly being on the sideline and like reporting and being horrible at it, but just getting work over in like early 90s. And like I was watching like Oilers Chiefs from like January of 94 a month ago, and he's on the sideline, like being the camera, like being the sideline, being the Carissa Thompson. And I was like, wait, you're about to like kill your wife in like 3 months. Like, what the fuck? This is weird.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man.
My favorite comedy that like crosses sports in the last probably 15 years. It's old now. But in 2007, you remember when they gave Frank Caliendo his own show on TBS?
I do.
And to intro it, now the show sucked. It was a flop. But to sell it, they brought him on to like TNT or TNT like NBA count, whatever it was called back then. And Charles Barkley's like single on the screen, and like Caliendo just starts doing his voice, and it's like spot on. And Barkley's face is just like, you know, is just he's indescribable. And the funniest part was he's like, what's your favorite impression to do? And like no hesitation, Caliendo goes, "You, Charles, you're my favorite one to make fun of." It's just like so the best.
Good. So good. Oh man, this comment, OJ releasing a book on how he would have done it if he did it, is the wildest thing.
So good. The if there is like the smallest if. It's just like, I did it.
There's so many. I swear all the other OJ theories that are out there have just been like concocted by his legal team. The one that his son did it, and that's why like the DNA is at the scene and these are all the most like, it's very, very obvious that this man committed a murder and got away with it because of very incompetent legal work by the state. That's basically it. But too much, man. Oh, Mitchell is awesome, man. This guy's got some.
Yeah, I feel like he's got like Jamal Charles 09 potential, where like he can like I think maybe not rush for like Jamal Charles rushed for like 1,000 yards in the last like 7 games of 09, and like this guy's got that kind of explosiveness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jermaine Pratt's nowhere to be found in this game, though. That's disappointing.
It's Jermaine Pratt.
Well, Andrew's getting hurt that play because he's like a tight end guy too, cover guy, so he would get tackles on those catches, but that hurts.
Yeah. A couple weeks back, coming out of the bye week, I did bet Cincinnati to make the playoffs at some very, very good prices. This is very disappointing. Also bet the Browns to miss at that time as well. And now I have the Browns to win. It's all bad is what it all comes down to. It's all bad. Nice donation to an offshore sports book. Should have just donated to Pinnacle instead. Stays in Ontario at the very least.
Yeah, helping the local economy there. Yeah. I still think, I mean, the Ravens are just always a Lamar injury away from implosion. The fact that the Steelers are at 6-3 is weird. Like you don't have any like equity in the Steelers doing anything real, right?
No, but no. Actually, do I have any? No, I don't have any equity in the Steelers do anything real. I might have some season win total over, but a very small amount. I actually do, but it's not anything that I'm sweating.
Yeah.
But like if they, the Steelers play next week.
Who do they play next week?
They play the Bengals next week. So they're going to go from
they get two
DTR
guys
to Jake Browning. Like how the voodoo is becoming more and more real with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
every
I don't know
day.
how they do it. Every day it's becoming more and more real. Holy Jesus, place taking days.
That was almost a touchdown. That was a hell of a throw by Lamar.
That was that Taylor got hurt there. It looks like
Taylor Britt, yeah.
No, I think Cam Taylor Britt already left the game if I'm correct. And this is DJ Turner.
Oh, right. Oh, he's out.
I'm pretty sure Cam Taylor Britt already left the game, and DJ Turner is now hurt. Who's the highest rated free agent quarterback right now?
It's Kirk Cousins, right?
Well, okay, forget about. I'm J-Rod. Rephrase the question. Is it current free agents, like you want to bring in a free agent for the Browns or the Bengals, or free agents for next year? Because definitely next year is Kirk Cousins. Definitely next year is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, so like right now, if you have free agents right now, over the cap is like my favorite resource. I think, yeah, next year if you just look at quarterbacks, it's Cousins, Tannehill, Brissett, Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. Well, according to Joe A on Twitter, that would be
He should be
one.
first. Well, no,
number one.
Cousins is totally a Joe A guy, though, right?
Oh, true.
If Cousins was healthy, that's the GOAT.
Are you suggesting Joe A is a white supremacist?
I'm flirting with it. No, I'm just kidding. But there's certainly, like, when you look at the list, it does look like the time Peter Griffin got pulled over.
It sure does. It sure does. That over the top. What is it? Over the top? Is that what you said?
Over the cap has.
Over the cap.
Yeah,
that's your second favorite resource. Sumer Sports would be number one for obvious reasons, and apparently your internet resources are also extremely poor. Well, we're done with Eager. We got a man sweating a big second half bet. Sir Horse?
A little bit. How are you?
Good. How about you, man?
I'm great. It's life's good when we're back in the blindly jam the green button all day on every single pullback for 6 months.
Very nice.
Yeah, everything's good.
It all comes full circle. Last time we chatted was in early October for Circles Off. It was right after. I'm going to bring Eric back in here too. He just
sorry, my computer's been on the fritz all night. Berryhorse, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. You probably want to flip us if you can. So it's Eric. Then it's Eric Berry.
Eric Berry. Look at this. You know what? We have to change Eric's name as well.
You know that's where my name's from, right?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That was your Twitter avatar for a long time. I actually forgot about that. Oh, Fezzik's a big fan too, Berryhorse, just so you're aware as well. But we're coming full circle because in early October, DTR got smoked by the Ravens. And we were talking on our program about how you're not a big fan. And I've gone out and I've acquired myself some DTR stock for this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I had Drew Dinsick on in the second quarter. He's like, you got to ask Berryhorse about his opinion on DTR. You got to ask him. I'm like, well, I already know what it is, but has anything changed for you? Like, do you think I'm an idiot essentially for betting the Browns?
I'm trying to figure out on Pittsburgh. I know that white linebacker and Quan Alexander, I think, are both out, but I think
white linebacker. Are you also a white supremacist as well?
No, the kid, he played in North Carolina. He was playing decent. I forget the guy's name. But I saw them all talking about how that was like a huge communication issue. But I think their plan is to actually have the guys who are going to be in charge of that prepared this week. I think that can explain a little bit of the defense last week. But yeah, and do you know about Fitzpatrick?
Don't think. I mean, it looked like a bad injury where it was going to still be like multi-week. I don't know yet. Okay. You're talking about Cole Holcomb at linebacker.
Yeah, and then I know Neal is questionable too. So I mean, it would make sense if they're playing like literal practice squad defensive players that DTR could have pretty like bifurcated, like very bimodal outcomes against like it wouldn't take too much of a gap in defense to make him look competent, but it would, in my opinion, require like a pretty disorganized unit for him to look good.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that would you say bimodal there? This is where this is going way. The Nails don't talk like this, man. These guys don't. I don't want to. I'm not calling our audience dumb or anything like that, but we're at a different level now for the fourth quarter with Berryhorse.
I'll try and dumb it down.
Yeah, no, don't do that. I'm just joking around. Yeah, was Quan Alexander ACL? I don't remember. It was something.
Achilles.
Yeah. The thing I remember about Quan Alexander is he played 19 snaps in that Super Bowl against the Chiefs and had 4 missed tackles.
Yeah, I'm not sure any of these guys are good, but the backups were like pretty clearly wholly unprepared, like basically unable to communicate. Got like Cam Hayward was like the one talking last week. I think that's probably important. But
I think DTR was like the classic case of you played 6 years in college. Of course, you're going to look good in the preseason. Overreaction player, and it kind of fell on his face in the regular season. I'm interested to see like the Steelers aren't dominant defensively if they don't get turnovers, but they might not need to be. I just wonder like, are we going to get like an Army Navy type outcome in that game though?
Well, look at the total. It's entirely possible. When was the last time we saw a total that in a non-weather game of 33? It's within the range of outcomes. In fact, it's very likely that we get a game like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to go and watch the fourth quarter. Berryhorse, take care of Rob, okay?
We'll do. Great to meet you.
Yeah. It's Eric.
Yeah, I went. I don't know. Maybe I overbet it. I don't know. I went kind of ham on that first game. It's going to be hard for me to justify doing that this week when I think I took 1 with Baltimore. So how am I going to take 1 with injured Pittsburgh? It's like pretty psychotic. But I do genuinely think I was stealing in the first game. So I might just leave it alone. I don't really know. But
in hindsight, it definitely not only what we know of the teams now, but also just the outcome of the game was incredibly lopsided. There was never a chance once that game started that Cleveland was moving the ball on that. It's easy to say in hindsight, but it is what it is. Pittsburgh is plus 52.1 expected points on turnovers this year, which I find to be absurd.
Okay. I believe of course the severity for sure, but in my opinion, people get way overworked up on how random some of this stuff is, and when it's like the same thing with Belichick covering in the blind 60% for 2 decades. Like there's certain things that we can see and understand, but I don't think either of us would say we're true football savants. Not to name drop, but have you ever actually talked through an NFL game with a coach or player? It's so insane the level at which the game is thought through and understood by them that no offense, but truly, obviously people do a great job in the media, but you can only make it so presentable that people actually care about. But it's just not covered by anything I've observed that's publicly easy to see.
It's sad. It's sad that I can't give out the specific ex player or the YouTube channel, but one of my favorite things to do. There's a former backup quarterback from the league, young guy, didn't last. Can't remember who it is, but I like to watch videos of him playing Madden and breaking down the plays because he will call just a quarterback's perspective on what he sees at the line of scrimmage and sending players in motion. I could tell that they're running this and that. This is how you beat this defense. This is where I'm going to, and I think that's some of the most incredible content out there. And it just gives you a different perspective in terms of how someone sees the game.
Yeah. And my point in bringing that up is I assume most staffs are actually highly intelligent and have good stuff. And, by the year, it seems like it would logically get better. But some of these Tomlin, even Belichick, who maybe you tear down seeing the last 2 or 3 years, but maybe you watch the clip where they practice like verbatim the exact play of the what's his face Butler interception in the Phoenix Super Bowl against Seattle. Like, like I know not all 32 teams are doing shit like that. And seeing that, I just feel like some of these outlier things are symptoms of underlying things that you and I not only don't understand, but probably couldn't even understand, even if we had an hour to talk to the coaches of how culturally instilled like this crazy level of thinking some of these are. So like, I'm not saying the Steelers are going to continue that pace for the season, but I do think some of these things that are like referred to as voodoo randomness are far from it. And like, there's certainly stuff there, but I don't know.
I'm with you. There's actually been like talks from the organization specifically about a lot of the stuff that they like. I'm sure the Steelers are not the only team in the league that's practicing punching balls out of defenders' hands. Like we saw the Jets try to do that a lot against the Raiders on Sunday Night Football or whatever. I do agree that there is some repeatability. The people who think that it's just always like over time is going to regress to zero for every single team, it's not right. It isn't. But you get to a point where it's so extreme that the likelihood of repeating at that level is extremely low.
Of course.
I love the questions. What coin do I 100x leverage? Man, I used to leverage trade for a bit. For like 2 months, I would have to wake up. Like you basically couldn't sleep.
Yeah,
I couldn't sleep. Like I was on 10x.
I'm a little in that mode now, but it's pretty pristine month here. So, and it's been a good month. I feel like I only really have an edge where I can just like mouth breather. Like I said, I could train a monkey to just jam the green button on every pullback. Like this month has been. Like these are kind of the only times where I really like press. So it's kind of worth it to sleep a little less for a couple months and then do nothing for 3 years.
Yep. I hear you. Now you're second half Baltimore minus 2.5, right? So you're ahead right now, 6-3 second half.
Yeah. Do I need to root anything for you?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Nothing. Most of most of the props I played, like some very small sweat, have all been decided in one way or another already. Basically lost the unders on some, cashed the overs on some. I played a lot on Nelson Aguilar over receiving yards.
Nice.
Not the $100 that people see on screen. Every now and then I get a comment from someone that's like, oh yeah, you're sweating all these for no disrespect. Like if $100 is the unit size, bet $100. I'm not bet within your limits at all times. But like, I can't get out of bed for 100.
More like 150 or something, not 200, right?
125 and change. Whatever was left in the account, I did like a rounding thing.
Yeah.
So if it was like 37 cents left, I played that plus $125.
There you go.
100. That's the classic move to let the sportsbook know that you're an absolute dummy. Absolute dummy. Made my way into a VIP program this week. I won't say who. But they messed up, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough couple weeks for my guy Max, who's been texting me. So he doesn't wait till he starts to see the WNBA first quarter stuff next year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Those
a pretty silly.
Those are the classics. Oh yeah, this is Canadian dollars too, by the way. So it's like even less. It's like half of that in US. Half of that. Oh man. Are you doing any pregame NFL betting? I don't remember if we talked about it or not. Yeah, it looks like you nodded.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna come across as bragging, but I've had like 4 real like big bets basically. All quarterback, like that DTR, Clayton Tune, DeVito last week, and then one wasn't. One was Philly against Miami.
Yeah, I was on that one too. That was actually one of my bigger plays of the year as well.
Yep.
That was one of the bigger ones of the year. Are you playing? You haven't like whatever. You don't, even if you don't play it. Do you have any opinion on the Super Bowl rematch on Monday? I remember you posted the poll.
It looks so perfect. I mean,
yeah.
Because
I mean, one of my favorite tweets was your poll after the Super Bowl last year. Like, if you could go back and rebet this game, knowing what you know now, what would you pick? and like everyone would have rebet the game, and you're like, it was like it's like a true coin flip. The line was like a pick 'em, and like people are lining up to bet one side again.
I mean, I don't know what you could possibly make this to have like a high conviction big bet. I mean, I'm sure people will bet it for fun, and I don't know, maybe people think they have like 5 or 10 cents the best of it, but it's hard for me to see how anybody could be stealing on it.
I'd be betting KC up to -2.5, -118.5.
Okay,
that's my. That would give me a 1.5%. Well, let me see what my spreadsheet set to. That would give me a 1% edge in the game. This is the margins we're talking about with NFL.
Like an ROI or like gap in win probability, like
gap in probability.
Okay,
it's almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the point we're at right now in sports betting.
Yeah, I mean, also just it's November 16th, and they're the 2 most popular teams with 10 games under their belt. Like,
right.
Yeah,
right. I just hope no quarterback gets injured in the first half of that. I mean, it would make for a good betting opportunity, but it won't make for me being in a good situation sitting here and watching the full game.
Who are the backups right now
for both of those teams?
Because Henny retired, right?
Yeah. So the Eagles is Mariota is the backup there because he went over in the offseason, and Blaine Gabbert is the backup for the Chiefs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that would be an opportunity.
I know my backup quarterbacks, which is really sad. I know my backup quarterbacks and punters. Can't really explain the punter thing, but they just stick in my head for some reason or another. You're gonna have a sweat. You're gonna have a sweat here, Sir Horse.
Yeah, probably. Makes it more fun.
Mickey wants to know why your Telegram subscribers give you so much grief with their emoji reactions.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm basically flat for like a couple months, honestly. So maybe they want more winning, but I like not meant to unit shape, just being like as realistic as possible. Like I'm giving out real stuff at not the best numbers. Like I'm not gonna be, unless I run amazing 10% in there. So like if you want to crush, like I'm sure there's people crushing basketball you can follow right now.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, Barry. I'll be very open and honest and upfront with you here. I almost immediately put a poop emoji on every single message you send. Like almost within, I do a poop emoji for you. Back in the day, I used to do a hot dog emoji for Chernoff, which kind of picked up steam over a while. I don't know what it is, but I just do it. Can't explain it. And now there was that one day where you recorded like an audio about the emojis, which I was fucking crying listening to that. Oh, too good. Yeah. I wish I could explain it, man. You been hitting the links at all or what?
I grind pretty. I mean, from opening day until I really have like more like 2 weeks left in the sprint until the bowl games and stuff. I take 1 week off in August where I play a lot, and then every couple of weeks go to the beach and play a little. But it's pretty much 8 or 9 months of like pretty hard work, and then play a lot more soon. Do you?
Winter is coming here now. My plan is to rebuild my swing over the off season. Which
are you working with someone?
I plan on it. I said that last year, though, and what's inevitably going to happen is the remainder of football season is just going to beat me down. Like I see Zach off screen here. He's like, there's no way. I plan on it, but I do have an irrational. It's a rational fear. I don't think it's irrational, but I have this fear of working with someone and not improving in the level I want to. And then I'll feel like an extra piece of shit having done these lessons and worked with someone and still not getting better. Like at least now I have an excuse, right? I go out on the course, I hack it up. I'm not improving. I still have a good time. I'm at a level where like I have a good time every time I play. I'm not great, but it's enough. And now if I try to.
Sure. Well, it's supposed to be fun. So
yeah,
whatever's fun.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
The people are a fan of nothing more electric than second half coming. Oh man.
Money line coming should have been more exciting this year.
Yeah. Yeah. This game has been very slow.
Yeah,
Very slow.
bunch of injuries too.
Yeah. Yeah. At least you got a sweat.
It's pretty crazy.
Played...
It's pretty crazy Browning in the league right now to me.
You know what though? I mean, if we were to go through the quarterbacks in the league, you might say that I could say that for some starters, man. Like, I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
Not only that Zach Wilson's a starter, but that he's in the league.
Yeah. He can, I mean, at this point it's enough, but like, at least until like about this year, I think you could have argued it just because he can like physically do things, but Browning was just never good at anything. I mean, yeah, it's kind of nostalgic. I think I should check this, but it feels like, and I think the biggest bet of my life on a football game as a percentage of bankroll was against him in college. Like 7 years ago.
Do you remember the game?
Yep. Bama minus 14.5 in the semifinal. I 17.
I bet Bama in that game.
Such the right side. I mean, I cannot believe we had a sweat, but it ran to 17.
Oh, I remember that game very clearly. Very clearly. Yeah. I love how Browning just like danced around for about 30 yards there just to take a 2-yard sack. Like, dude, fucking just you're down 2 touchdowns, man. Make a throw. Unload the ball. Okay. Really interesting. Yeah, this is the game. This was the game. Yeah. Jalen Hurts, 7 of 14 for 57 yards.
That defense was crazy.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down the tackles? It's like all NFL players, the whole defense.
Yeah, let's see if we can see the defensive players here, Zach, all the way at the bottom.
Jonathan Allen, Minka Fitzpatrick, Marlon Humphrey.
We got a shit ESPN box.
I think Reuben Foster. I want to say, who's the guy that was really good on the Titans? Rashawn Evans, is that his name?
Yeah.
Cowboys might have signed him, something like that. Yeah, I mean, literally, and then like all the backups played. I'm not even naming D-line yet. There's like 20 guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an incredible team for sure. That was 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unreal. I have to find this now. The roster from that year. Just to make sure we didn't miss out on it.
That was my favorite team. I like 3 of my biggest bets for that team.
I love this as well. Money line coming makes the world stop. I want to get your thoughts before we pull up that roster of these primetime unders.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's getting to a sample where like I ran like a binomial distribution on it just to see like the likelihood of this number of coin flips resulting in this many unders. And it's like almost outside the realm of possibility at this point.
Well, for how many games? For just this year, or how many?
It goes back to like, it goes back maybe like a couple years, I think. Somebody sent me the ATS or like the totals on it via Twitter DM. It was somewhere around 100 games.
All right, but that's not crazy. I mean, there's like 17,000 different random things you could split games in 2 on and get a sample of 100 over a couple of years, and like whatever, if it's 5 and 1,000, there's 1,000 things you can invent. These are one of the 5 things that survive to talk about. I mean, what would the implication be that these are like bigger, more important games where coaches coach more not to lose than to win, and that or like what would be the implication that primetime?
Yeah, that's the thing for me. Like I don't really have like a hypothesis that makes a lot of sense to me, right? It's like some people are like, oh yeah, it's the nerves of playing under the lights. It's like, I don't know about that. A lot of these players have probably played some pretty big games before at some level, and I don't have a good logical reason as to why this would happen.
Yeah. I mean, if you cared enough that you could look at like a lot of different things, like would that mean like more drops, worse passes? Like would that impact all 53 players? Like who would pressure under the lights influence the most? I mean, you could look at all these things, but
yeah,
it seems not crazy worth the time to me.
But
who knows? I mean, I talked about this before. Like I am pretty open to things that are like hard to just like a priori deductively explain without like empirical like a small amount of empirical numbers. Like one of the things I was betting a lot in like the late 2010s, I won't say the team or the day or anything, but it was this baseball team who had a heavy lift day every Monday, no matter, like they were hell bent on having this, even if they had a game.
Yep.
And like if you just blind bet as an example against the Yankees and under on Monday for when the strength staff was there, it won in the blind for like 10% ROI, and it would have looked idiotic. Like the Yankees can't play on Monday if you didn't know what was going on. So like maybe there's something I just am not conscious of going on. But
Right.
On 100 games, I would prefer to have some like deductive reason for it rather than 100 games.
Yeah. My God, man, I'm looking at this Alabama defense. Their defensive line had Dalvin Tomlinson, Quinnen Williams, Jonathan Allen, and Deron Payne.
Yeah.
Like, it's just absurd.
I want to say the big bets were like just jamming against USC the entire game in week 1 that year. Like every second, basically. And then I want to say they had a comeback on Ole Miss where they were tied or losing at halftime and then blew them out in the second half.
Trayvon Diggs, wide
I think
receiver
those
slash
were my
DB.
3 games that year.
Yeah. Zach, go up to the top here. You can sort by position, I think. Sort by jersey on the right side. Make that position. Okay. Eddie Jackson, Bears safety now. Pretty solid all around.
Tony Brown played.
Yep. Keep going. Okay, Ronnie Harrison played safety for the Browns for a while. Aaron Robinson's in the league still. Marlon Humphrey, obviously. Minka Fitzpatrick.
Averett played for the Ravens.
And Anthony Averett was there. Yeah, this is like a really... Levi Wallace is still playing. Yeah, the defensive line is when we get like Tomlinson was a redshirt senior. Quinnen Williams, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. Oh my God. Like these teams had no chance.
Reuben Foster is one of the best college football players I've ever seen in my life. Sean Jennings was one of their best players. Yeah. Or maybe I'm misremembering. Sean Hamilton. Terrell Lewis was nasty in college. Ryan Anderson was nasty in college. And then didn't they have wasn't it Tim something, the other edge rusher? All these guys played. Anthony Jennings, all these guys played.
Tim Williams.
Yeah, Tim Williams, yeah.
Oh my God.
He was insane in college.
Incredible team. All right. You got the big play downfield to OBJ. So hoping the Ravens can punch one in here for you. Make the sweats.
Yeah. I'm kind of psychopathically rooting for over to land 20 somehow or something because I wanted to double dip with under 20 and it got kind of front ran from.
So the old front runners, man.
I kind of spite rooting for over.
Yeah. Oh man. It's times like these where I really am happy that I invested in a comfortable gaming chair. Sit at the desk.
Just one? You're all in on the chair? Have you seen that recirculating?
Have I seen what?
The clip of Michael Saylor on an interview. He's asked like, how are you so convicted to be all in on Bitcoin or something like that? And he's like, are you sitting in one chair? Are you all in on the chair? Why don't you have more chairs? When you go on a plane with your family, why don't you put them in 5 different planes? When you have knives in the kitchen, do you have plastic knives? Do you have a wooden knife? No, you have one steel knife. There's one best way for a knife.
Oh man, Saylor. He's got like so many tweets that I can remember. I had an audible reaction to.
Yeah.
I'm not in tune with crypto Twitter anymore though at all. Like zero.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't trade.
It's getting vibrant this month.
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned that I can't manage gambling Twitter and crypto Twitter. It's just a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit too much for me. There we go. Gus Edwards. Let's go. No flags. No flags. Trey Hendrickson limping off the field. Bengal season just going to shit, basically. Just going.
Yeah, what do you think that was? I'm not a doctor, obviously. I saw people saying UCL. I don't understand any of this.
I mean, we brought it up earlier, but he arrived at the game, came off the bus wearing some sort of wrap on his hand and wrist. He obviously had an injury going in, which was not disclosed because he didn't appear on the injury report at all, despite wearing a wrap showing up to the stadium, plus had something on his wrist during the game. But what was really weird was how his pinky finger looked.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I don't know. I honestly don't know. What do the Twitter doctors have to say about this? That's what I really need to know.
Not in tune.
I am a big fan of the Twitter doctors, generally speaking. I know a lot of them have gotten like a little bit touty.
Very.
Yeah. Yeah. I that like
no, some of them are really good. Like the one like this Stefania Bell who's been around forever. She sometimes has like counter market ones, and she's just right a lot. Like I've been listening to her for years. There's some good ones, but
yeah. So there was a clip circulating of Burrow where he said, "I felt a pop." Like it's very clear that he's saying, "I felt a pop."
Elbow or hand or wrist.
The speculation. So this is Deepak Chona. He appears with Todd Furman every week. Multiple possibilities, but mechanism most strongly suggests TFCC tear. Lean heavily towards multi-week absence. Healing takes approximately 6 weeks, but could return in 4. Jesse Morse, MD, who was on with G-Stack George earlier this week, said Burrow's on the sidelines without a brace or cast on. This likely means he tore a ligament or tendon in his wrist. There's a ton of them. It's too difficult to speculate which one. TFCC.
Yeah, that would not assist them in winning. You were hurt.
The triangular fibrocartilage complex. Oh, you got a little, what is that, a Maltese or a poodle?
She's yawning for me. Yeah, well, allegedly Maltese. Something.
Allegedly. Looks like a Maltese.
Yeah, pretty Maltese. I think she has something else going on. But
yeah. I got the tortoise here to the left of me. But he's asleep. I don't want to break him from his slumber. He tends to get pretty upset. I got to get him doing some picks though, man. That's the next phase. We got to bring him back. He did beat a human in a handicapping competition. So
he can start picking the college games for me.
Yes. Not doing well in college or?
No, just in the Telegram, the half times are down.
Yeah.
The NFL is my subsidy right now. It's crazy.
There you go. I know it's weird, man. It's weird how it is. People say the NFL is unbeatable. They say it's unbeatable.
They do.
They don't know what they're saying, though. They don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think plenty of these are still way off. Obviously, the challenge is what's your precision and recall going to be, but a lot of these lines are really bad.
Oh man, Eric gets so frustrated with people online, and it makes me.
What happened?
I don't know the full story. Zach Taylor says that Joe Burrow's right thumb. He made a joke tweet, and somebody took it. Oh man, too good. Oh man. It's now that time where we just have to fill the void.
Yeah, are you doing hockey right now?
I started a couple weeks ago, yeah.
And that goes till June?
Yeah, I mean, it goes till whenever I want it. Technically, the season goes till, including playoffs, till June, but it goes till whenever I want to stop.
Yeah. Like I was going to ask you, do you even have like an off season? That seems like that'd just be like a month or two for football.
We were very late to start up this year for a number of reasons, but like some automation issues, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's we go and I don't want to say too much here, but I will. I don't want to offend. Let me just put it that way.
Okay.
But like there's a lot of very early hockey action this year.
Yep.
Which has made things let's say I have a lot of disagreements with the early money.
Okay.
So it's opened up a lot of early morning edges for me that
Good.
typically I wouldn't have had in years past. I don't really know what's going on, but like it's definitely become a race for everyone to get down early.
Uh-huh.
And I just have some like extreme fundamental disagreements on some teams that have really worked out in my favor so far. So I'm hoping it continues, man. But there's like a flood of like openers are getting popped like immediately 20, 30, 40 cents. Like I've never seen anything like it. So hopefully
with VIG or like no VIG moving 30 cents.
No VIG moving like 30 cents. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that continues on. But I'm also not betting nearly as much as I used to for hockey as well. So there's that. And also trying to keep things as quiet as possible this year, because what I've learned from previous years is, you can get that big bet down and move market, but then you've just given away like a bunch of information.
Yeah.
And I would rather the opportunity to bet a team that I'm high on relative to market like 7-8 times in a row.
I don't know. I've thought of that a lot too. I mean, it definitely does not help. It's only hurtful, but like, I don't know how much you follow the baseball. I bet Zack Phillips like every start for like his first 7 starts or something in baseball this year.
Yep.
And then basically got priced out. I don't think, maybe it might have even been less before the prices got good. I don't really think whether people are going to see what's happening if he's good or not. At least maybe hockey's different. Like not enough people are paying attention.
Yeah. It's also
I
different
feel like
in terms of what's being offered on screen in terms of like bet size, right?
Yeah.
Because like typically you bet, all of your PPH and then hit the screen as like your last thing, which is just like, it's not even worth it, in my opinion, for hockey to give away that information. Now, obviously some of the stuff is going to leak regardless. It's just going to happen, but it's worked out pretty well so far this year. It's only been like 2.5 weeks of betting, but I'm pretty confident that I've had way more volume because of that. So we'll see if that continues. But yeah, the early flood of money, it's like, I mean, that's sports betting nowadays. I suspect I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suspect and I think they've built a following as well of people who are, let's say, over moving on some of the stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hold on, sorry. I'll be back in like 10 seconds. My girlfriend's just at the door.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Locked her out. Pro move. Pro move. Oh, man. This game turned out to be just an absolute shit show.
Yeah, 20 people laid 3 though, so let's root for them.
Yep, there you go. Oh man, Odell Beckham already in the street clothes on the sideline. He's done with the game. Not getting back in there. I've been done with this for a while as well. I don't have my guitar in this room though. The cleaning ladies moved it. I don't know where they did, or else we would go out on Take Me Home country roads. I don't know what your vocals with the pipes are like, Barry.
Not good. Very far from good. The opposite's good. Yeah.
At some time we will have to go out. No. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I mean, I can get away with doing like karaoke and not embarrassing myself, but I don't have the voice of an angel or anything like that,
Could land too, not to speak it into existence.
Just trying to see if I have any anytime touchdown for Cincinnati. Don't think I do. Oh, did I bet a little Trenton Irwin? I did right before the stream. And of course, Trenton Irwin got taken down at the fucking 2-yard line here. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ.
You think he goes for 2 if they score?
Oh, God. This has come up in the chat already. Ooh, that will be a sweat if it happens. That will be a sweat. I honestly think they do. Did they get this? Yeah. All right.
You're probably ahead of me. They're going for it.
I don't know yet. It's a touchdown. Jamar Chase caught a touchdown. So that's going to make the second half, 13-9? Oh my God, man. We get a live sweat with Berryhorse. From what I can tell, they're bringing out McPherson. They're bringing out the kicker.
All right.
There you go. We retract the live sweat. Live sweat would have been much better for content.
How about the onside kick? I've had too much happen to me in this life.
Do they? Yeah, I guess they will try an onside kick because, why not? But I mean, there was a very similar situation involving a Ravens game 3 weeks ago at Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
With the onside kick that went right through Nelson Aguilar's hands. It's incredible how much of this chat, as soon as you tweet out something at the half, it's like everyone is just mad scrambling.
Yeah, the NFL's been good.
Yep.
Somehow.
Yeah. I would venture a guess over time that college football would be a lot better.
And same thing with the talk. But I do think it's not crazy, unimaginable, irrational that it's stark how much better. Honestly, my whole career I've been at sides and totals and everything basically, but especially baseball. And then this is a one-off. There's no track record of this, but even the pro, I think you could argue that maybe knowing how liquid the harder ones are, so sides versus totals instead, or pro versus college instead, might lead to a higher level of respect to me, or a higher burden of proof to bet something because I respect it more, that you could argue I'm more what's the word, not judicious, where you're very selective.
Dude, you have a million times better vocabulary than me, so don't ask me what the word is. I can do some basic arithmetic and ask ChatGPT some questions. That's about the extent of my abilities right there. That's the extent of my abilities. Dylan says that he almost drove his car off the road trying to bet Ravens second half tonight.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, Dylan. It's okay, man, to miss one bet.
Yeah,
it's fine.
No, I think everyone would be better off if they just viewed bets as if I'm unbelievable, I'm going to be 10% of these. So whatever you're betting on a game, just view betting that game as 0.1 units. Is that going to change it? You're going to live if you don't get 0.1 units for one game. So
I hope since he doesn't use timeouts here, they're not going to use timeouts. All right, before we wrap up here, I hate answering. DT, you've asked this question about 78 times tonight, so I'll answer. But I hate giving out survivor. It's week 11, and I don't know how many people are left in your pool. I don't know what the ownership projections are going to be. There's so much that goes into this. That's not. I can't give you the plus EV play in Survivor. I can tell you rough win percentages on these teams.
Do you have to go this minute? Because I actually want to talk about one of these if you have 5 minutes.
No, I'm good.
Okay. What you actually have power ratings, or obviously you adjust everything after, but you have some semblance of this team is this good.
Yep.
Or this okay. And it's something 0 is an average team. Usually the best teams +8 versus -8 or something like that.
Yeah, I have a plus. The top team is a little bit less than +8, and the worst
and some
team
years
is
it's
more
more or
than
less.
-8.
Yeah. But what do you think the Giants are right now? With today's Sunday's version of the Giants?
A minus. I have an exact numbers. I think I was -9.7, something like that. Are you way lower?
This is the game I'm kind of thinking of doing something with. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
Some of the best games I ever bet in my life is when I just had balls and said they truly are that Dallas last week. I think they just truly are that bad. I think they might be worse. I know it's aggressive. I understand all the basic statistics of how bad can a team truly be. there's some floor to it, but like what would you make Dallas Giants if they replayed again this week? Like the game at close 17.5 last week, I think. What would you make that today?
Yeah, it would be I have Dallas at like 6.2. Now, like it's a tough question that I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this before, but like my NFL is not like this team has this rating, this team has this rating. Let's add home field. Sure. I'm actually matching the teams up against one another. So I had a very small edge on Dallas last week, which I didn't play. I'm going to imagine I'd be in like a 21 type of range this week.
Yeah, I think so too. So would Dallas really be like, and not that it works this way, these points are worth different amounts, but like, would Dallas really be like 10 over Washington on neutral? Washington's definitely not stealing, but like, it sounds utterly deranged for how bad a team it is. But I know it's the biggest mouth breather public play in the world, but like, I think it's a little cheap. Like, I think the Giants is like really are that bad right now.
So
there will be a bottom to their market. And maybe it's already happened, but I think there's a little lower to go for them. But
I'm not scared to admit I took a little bit of Giants at what is a very good price right now. Mm-hmm. We do have Dallas hosting Washington next week. The look aheads are Dallas minus 9.5, and that's home. It's not neutral either. Mm-hmm. So to your point, maybe there's something there. Also, it could get so much worse for the Giants because like everyone in their secondary is on the injury report in some capacity.
Jackson. Can't you argue this week's version is worse than last week's version?
It could very much well be worse. Kayvon Thibodeau got hurt last week, so there's a lot.
I don't know. It's not a big bet. It's not like it could be 13 or 14 or something where you're just stealing. But I think it might be a little cheap. But anyways, that would be my answer to the Survivor question.
Got it. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, someone messaged me, DM me today, like I'm scared to take Washington Survivor because I know you like the Giants spread. I'm like, nah, I still think Washington is like, great. Right. I think I had them like 81 point something percent to win. And it could be higher by game time, depending on how this injury situation plays up. But I know your girlfriend's back now, Barry.
Yep.
I know she's there. And
thanks for having me.
No problem. Appreciate you joining us. It's Berryhorse, everyone. You bet his second half plays. Have a good one, man. All right. What a stream tonight. Zach ate some sushi behind the scenes. We had some great guests. Berryhorse, Eric Eager, Drew Dinsick, Kirk Evans. Absolute banger of a stream. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Just a reminder, if you haven't liked the stream, just take 2 seconds and like it. It's not that hard. Second reminder. Make sure you're subbed here on Forward Progress. I know it doesn't seem like a big thing, but if you're not subbed, come on, man. Come on. Third thing, if you're in Canada, support our sponsor, Pinnacle. I've bet at Pinnacle for 20 years now. Great sportsbook, great odds, very well trusted in the industry. Use code HAMMER if you are going to sign up for Pinnacle. I am back Sunday morning, pizza buffet. Give you some more losers on Sunday morning, per usual. That's why you bet earlier in the week. But I'm here Sunday morning, then Sunday night, and then Monday Night Football, another live watch along. Eagles and Chiefs. It's going to be a banger. Thank you to all the nails, the Nailaroonies, the Nailaroonies, whatever the hell you guys want to call yourself nowadays, for tuning in. This has been another live watch along here on the Forward Progress YouTube channel, part of the Hammer Betting Network, presented by Pinnacle. Everyone, enjoy your evening. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you back here on Sunday morning.